Hello and welcome into Yost Ice Arena here in Ann Arbor. Thank you for tuning in to WCBN Sports. Along with Luca Nowinski, I'm Theo Shernoff. We'll be calling the game tonight. Luca, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm ready for some Valentine's Day hockey action here at Yost. I'm so excited for this matchup.
It's a nice day here in Ann Arbor, believe it or not. Probably the nicest day since about November. And hockey, Game 2 of a top 6 series between Penn State and Michigan. Luca, that was a barn burner last night.
Yeah, what a game we saw here at Yost last night. We saw high-flying offenses, 2 of the top 10 teams in the nation, but also some goaltending action that really brought the fire here at Yost. And we're going to get another great matchup here today. Jack Ivankovic in the goal for the Wolverines. Kevin Radler in the goal for the Nittany Lions. It's sure to be an exciting matchup as these teams get ready for some hockey action on a Saturday night.
Teams getting ready for opening puck drop. Michigan in their maize that they wear on Saturdays. Maize uniforms, sweaters, blue numbering and lettering, white trim. Penn State in that same dark blue. We're underway in Ann Arbor. Shot saved by Ivankovic. Draper emerges. Ernestine now at center ice. Sends a puck kitty corner. Grabbed by Radler of the Nittany Lions. Keeps it moving to his teammate. Puck now at center ice. Turnover by the Nittany Lions. Jaden Perron for the Wolverines tries to enter the offensive zone. It's taken away by the Nittany Lions. Now behind their own net. Nittany Lions send it up the ice. Puck finds Ben Robertson of the Wolverines in his own ice, skating towards his own boards, shielding off Aiden Fink, the talented Nashville Predators prospect for Penn State. Puck flipped out to neutral ice. There for it, Cade Christensen of the Nittany Lions uses a Gavin McKenna touch to find Aiden Fink on offense, but Drew Schock takes it away for the Wolverines, sends it back out to neutral ice. Cade Christensen picks it up, sends the puck towards the direction of the net, patted away by Jack Ivankovic into the left corner. Another shot got by Gavin McKenna in the slot. Jack Ivankovic saves. McKenna found it in the slot and directed it on towards the net. Ivankovic saved it away. 18:37 remaining in the first period. Nothing. And Penn State flicks one towards the direction of that. Jack Ivankovic gobbles it up, stops the action. Penn State already 3 shots in these first 90 seconds.
And I'll tell you what, let's talk a little bit about Jack Ivankovic for a minute here. Injured against Notre Dame a little while back. Came back last weekend in Detroit against Michigan State. Kind of struggled in that loss for the Wolverines. Last night struggled a little bit in the first period, but came back with some great saves throughout that game, especially in the shootout, saving all 3 of Penn State's tries. He's on fire right now, and he's continuing that here in the first period.
Face off in the right circle. Nick Chindegraves fighting with Cole McKinney, and Michigan wins the faceoff. Garrett Shifsky emerges and skates through the block M in the center of the ice. Sends it to the backboards behind Penn State's net. Fighting for it and gathered by Cole McKinney at the blue line. Sends it all the way around the boards. A rolling puck received by Dakota Rayon Mullen for Michigan. Penn State now, Casey Amon gets a touch on the puck. Puck goes to Dakota Rayon Mullen at the blue line. Sends a shot just a little high of the net. Nick Chindegraves gets control of it. Sends the puck the length of the ice, but it's on net, so no icing. Jack Ivankovic controls the puck in front of him. Hands to Dakota Rayon Mullen. Skates across the red line, sends it all the way around the boards and changes. Received by Jackson Smith of the Nittany Lions. He had a stellar night last night. 2 goals, and they were both from very tough positions to score. Puck still fought for in Michigan's offensive zone. Aiden Park keeps the puck in the zone. Adam Valentini now controls for Michigan. Gets his shot deflected at the point of attack. Michigan sends a puck through the crease. No one home on the other side. Penn State does well enough to clear it out of the zone. Lev Katzen got a hand on it. Malcolm Spence now feathers a puck on his backhand behind Penn State's net. Adam Valentini fighting with Matt Godowski for control of the puck. Godowski wins and sends it the length of the ice, just high enough and slow enough that it's not icing. Drew Schock retrieves behind his own net. Schock sends one through central ice, trying to get a touch by Keenan Draper, but Draper was moving the wrong way, whiffs on it, and it will be icing. 17:06 remaining the first period, still scoreless.
I'll tell you what, this Penn State defense has been great so far early in this first period. Michigan's having a hard time getting any open lanes to the net, and they're just doing a great job of clogging it on the blue line. It's been really a good performance so far by this Penn State defense. We saw quick goals in the first period last night, 2-2 at the first intermission, so far scoreless here.
Michigan has had an issue starting slowly. The game last night ended 4-4 after 3 periods, then went to overtime, then shootout. Michigan won in the shootout to get 2 points in the Big Ten standings. Penn State gets 1, even though the game officially goes down as a tie. Puck flipped up to the Michigan offensive zone. Josh Ernest, the first there to prevent icing off of a faceoff in Michigan's defensive zone. Michigan now controls in their offensive zone and now loses control. Penn State's Reese Lawback started the game yesterday by scoring. Takes control of the puck. Keenan Draper now left circle in his own offensive zone for Michigan. Being pressed up against the boards by Matt Godowski. Will Horkoff getting involved, still in Michigan's zone up against the boards. And finally, Penn State emerges, clears through center ice. Cade Christensen enters with Matt DeMarsico for Penn State. Christensen controls, loses the puck to Josh Ernest. Then it's picked up by J.J. Webush. He was ejected last night. Game misconduct late in the first period thanks to butt ending. He's now back in the game for Penn State. Penn State re-entering the offensive zone through Matt DeMarsico. Leads the Big Ten in points. Or excuse me, 6th in the Big Ten in points. TJ Hughes takes it away for Michigan on intercepting a centering pass. He's going down the lane. Driving in Michigan's offensive zone. Sends a puck through the crease, not on target. Michigan still yet to control to notch a shot on goal. 15:53 remaining in the first period. Penn State controls in their defensive period. The defensive zone, excuse me. Gavin McKenna now crosses the blue line. Over to Aiden Fink. Sends a shot wide and right. Missed. Nick Moldenhauer's in pursuit. If he catches up to it, he might have a shot on goal. Moldenhauer puts on the brakes. Crosses. Perron shoots. Misses. He lost his angle on goal. Quickly the other way goes Penn State. Gavin McKenna, a nice hop step. Crossing pass. TJ Hughes cuts it off. And Asher Barnett's there to ensure no cleanup for the Nittany Lions. Back and forth we go, Luca. Dakota Raymond flips it in. Michigan changes.
Both of these teams putting some pressure on the goaltending and on the defense early, but these defenses are holding strong. Lots of quickness up and down the ice, back and forth so far, though.
Penn State emerges from behind their own net. Casey Ahman, a defenseman playing a forward position, flicks the puck in. Ivan Kovic controls behind his own net. He outlets. Aiden Park now for Michigan. Has some space through the blue line. Crosses. Cole McKinney couldn't handle the pass. Goes just behind the Penn State net. Penn State controls. Casey Ahman through neutral ice. Flicks it in softly, but it was touched offsides by Ben Schoen. He was just over the blue line before the puck came in, so the puck will reset to the faceoff dot just outside Michigan's defensive zone. 14:42 remaining in the first period. We are scoreless. Penn State has established 4 shots. Michigan yet to get one on net.
Man, they've had a couple opportunities in front of the net. That last one with McKinney, a great pass right in front of the net, just unable to corral it and get it through. But Michigan, despite having 0 shots, is still putting pressure on. So don't let those shot numbers fool you too much. Both of these teams are high-flying offenses so far.
Michigan wins the faceoff. Malcolm Spence controls, dumps it in deep for Michigan. Cade Christensen, another 27, the first one there for Penn State. Here's Shea Van Olm for the Nittany Lions. Tries to control. Instead, it finds Michigan, and now Michigan can't control. Penn State emerges. Van Olm enters the Michigan zone 1-on-4. Tyler Duke, the first one there for the Wolverines. Adam Valentini steps in front of the puck, and Penn State has a one-timer. Hits crossbar. Van Olm had an opportunity from the slot out of nowhere. Now Malcolm Spence a chance, and he's shut down in transition. Back and forth we go. Van Olm had a shot, missed it off the crossbar. Malcolm Spence in transition, couldn't catch up to the puck. It overskated the goalposts. Penn State finally controls defensively in their own zone. Nolan Collins gets it up to Matt DeMarsico. DeMarsico sends the puck along the blue line to Carter Shade. Shade whiffs once, whiffs twice, and now hits the puck straight up in the air. Comes down right at the feet of Josh Ernest. Reese Lawback keeps the puck in the zone for Penn State, then loses it to Ernest. Michigan enters their offensive zone. Ernest sends one kitty corner, and it misses off the glass. J.J. Webush catches up to it and just dumps it in Michigan's zone. Both teams change. Michigan behind their own net. Dakota Ray O'Mullen. His mother was the only woman, or the first woman, to ever play professional sports. She played for the Tampa Bay Lightning in a preseason game in the 90s. Here's Matt Tomarsik over Penn State. Tries a shot, misses wide. Penn State moving in transition. Puck on the near side for the Wolverines. Wolverines get it. TJ Hughes crosses the blue line, has flankers. Tries to center it. His pass is blocked to the point of attack. Nick Moldenhauer now for the Wolverines. Tries to reset and does to Drew Schock. Drew Schock has the puck go beyond the blue line, so Wolverines have to re-enter to avoid being offsides. TJ Hughes through the slot. Shot by Jaden Perron, blocked by Kevin Radler. First time we've called his name tonight. First time Michigan's had a shot on goal, it's saved. Second time Michigan's had a shot on goal as Nick Moldenhauer flicks one towards the net and Radler snatches it with his glove to blow the play dead. 1, 2, 3, 4. 12:34 remaining in the first period. Still scoreless in Ann Arbor. Michigan just recorded their first 2 shots of the game. Luca finally getting some offensive rhythm.
Tell you what, though, it's been a great job and a great showing so far by this Penn State defense. First of all, holding Michigan to only 2 shots almost 8 minutes into the first period, but also just staying disciplined. They're going with those Michigan skaters all the way into that Penn State defensive zone, and Michigan just hasn't had a lot of opportunities with open looks to the net. Another thing in terms of staying disciplined for Penn State, something interesting that may have kind of contributed to Michigan being able to score quite a bit even on an off night for them. Penn State with 31 penalty minutes last night. Michigan only had 14. And Michigan has one of the best power play units in the country, so Penn State's going to need to continue staying disciplined. Obviously, no penalties here so far tonight. They're going to need to stay disciplined, continuing to do so on defense and keeping their guys out of the box if they want to win this game.
Timeout on the ice, 12:34 remaining. Valentine's Day hockey. It's Winterfest here in Ann Arbor. Celebration of winter. Luca, you got any Valentine's Day plans?
I got a date with some hockey.
Yeah, that's me too. It's the reason I'm calling a game tonight.
What more could you ask for?
I mean, other than a Valentine, nothing really. Face off in Michigan's offensive left circle. Cole McKinney and Nick Chindegraves for Michigan and Penn State respectively there. Michigan wins the face-off. Ball, the puck finds Luca Fantilli. Shot, deflection, scored! Cole McKinney got his stick out in front of a Luca Fantilli shot. Deflected it, top bins, bar down, and Michigan takes an early 1-0 lead here in Ann Arbor.
Man, sometimes when the defense isn't giving you all that much, you just got to take a shot from wherever you can. Fantilli found a spot almost on the blue line, just kind of threw it in there off the deflection. Sometimes you just get a little lucky. That's what you got to do in hockey, and that's exactly what the Wolverines did, going up 1-0 with 12:26 to go in this first period.
Michigan goes up 1-0. Assist should be to Fantilli and Spence, I believe. Goal will be Cole McKinney, the stud center freshman from Lake Forest, Illinois. That's where my uncle's from. His 6th goal of the year. Michigan up 1-0, 12-12 remaining in the first period. Icing for Penn State as they release the puck just beyond the red line. But Michigan, an offensive zone faceoff coming in. Finally a hot start for these Wolverines.
Yeah, I mean, they needed that goal. I think that just puts them in a great position because despite Penn State having more shots here tonight, it doesn't feel like they've really put a lot of pressure on Ivan Kovic in that offensive zone yet. And Michigan being up 1-0, it gives you some leverage. And they've got a chance here now to add on in the offensive zone.
Michigan wins the faceoff in their offensive zone. Ben Robertson, the Cornell transfer for the Wolverines, sends it along the yellow, along the boards. Finds Casey Amon. Penn State controls in their own territory now. Cade Christensen trying to exit. Malcolm Spence keeps it in, but it finds Matt Godowski, the son of Penn State head coach Guy Godowski. Moves it up to Casey Amon. Penn State controls in their offensive zone. Ben Schoen tries to wrap around in front of Michigan's net. Ivan Kovic was ready, so was Ben Robertson. Malcolm Spence drops for Adam Valentini in the slot. Valentini tries to shoot, gets it blocked. Penn State trying to clear. Luke Misa, the Flames prospect, gets control and centers it to behind Penn State's net. 11:14 remaining in the first period. Michigan up 1-0. Gavin McKenna enters Penn State's offensive zone. Backhands it far side, Aiden Fink. His shot blocked by Asher Barnett. Behind Michigan's net, the puck goes. Dakota Rayo Mullen backhands it to Cole McKinney, who backhands it right back to Dakota Rayo Mullen. Michigan exits their defensive zone. Cole McKinney on offense enters the puck with the through the blue line. Garrett Shifsky, first shift on tonight, receives the puck. Finds Aiden Park behind the Penn State net. Park being shadowed by Gavin McKenna, and the puck finds Carter Shade. Finally, it's sent back out to Dakota Rayo Mullen, who keeps the puck along the blue line and in. Aiden Park moves it along. Asher Barnett, Edmonton Oilers prospect to Edmonton Oilers prospect. Barnett behind the Penn State net, tries to backhand a centering pass. It's blocked by Gavin McKenna. Gavin McKenna exits the Penn State zone through Nolan Collins, and Nolan Collins gets his pass at center ice deflected. Michigan goes back the other way. Michigan got a change off and back in the offensive zone. Nolan Collins finally lifts it off the boards high in the air to neutral ice. Penn State clears, but Tyler Duke controls for Michigan over mid-ice, sends the puck all the way around the boards, and the Wolverines chase after it. Josh Ernest chasing after it. Tyler Duke gets control at the left circle. Will Horkoff sends a shot from the left circle, deflected away. Keenan Draper now at the right circle, circles back around the Penn State net. Tyler Duke skating along the blue line through the Big Ten logo. Fakes a shot, fakes twice. Sends a diagonal pass, gets deflected off the skate of Will Horkoff. Josh Ernest lifts a puck beyond the Penn State net. Long offensive zone time here for Michigan. Keenan Draper swiveling back and forth. Michigan looking to finally get the puck out in front. Draper sends one through the crease, no one home. Tyler Duke for Michigan, a former Ohio State Buckeye player, moving behind the Penn State net. He takes a fall. Michigan keeps the puck. Luca Fantilli keeps the puck, sends it towards the net. He just had the last assist, and it's deflected away. Penn State has possession as Jared Crespo moves it, but Michigan is continuing to change while keeping pressure on Penn State defensemen. They have not changed in a long time, and Jackson Smith got control of the puck, sent it out of play. It'll be a face-off in Michigan's offensive zone, and Penn State is not allowed to change. This is a very long shift for their defensemen.
This is something we didn't see early in the period from Michigan, just putting pressure, constant pressure on those Penn State defensemen, and they're going to be tired here. Michigan with another opportunity to score in this offensive zone, up 1-0.
Up 1-0, 8:50 remaining. Michigan wins the faceoff in the offensive zone. Drew Schock sends one towards the net. It sails high. Nick Moldenhauer grabs the rebound. Looking for help, sends it to the slot. TJ Hughes is there, corrals the pass, skates back out to the left circle. Resets with Ben Robertson at the point. Robertson skates along the blue line towards the right circle. Now he skates towards the red line, towards the Penn State net, and Ben Robertson scores his first goal of the season. Robertson, a Cornell transfer, had 16 assists and a goose egg of goals. He finally gets on the board, and the Wolverines double their lead. An early 2-0 deficit that the Nittany Lions are going to have to climb out of. Ben Robertson did it all himself.
Well, we knew if the Wolverines could stay in the offensive zone long enough, they would get a good opportunity, and that's exactly what we saw right in front of the net there. They were just putting pressure on those Penn State defensemen, and like you said, no line change for Penn State for a while, and that's how you capitalize on an opportunity right there if you're the Wolverines.
We have not seen that bit of offense from Ben Robertson this season. He, again, just has been a point guard. 16 assists, no goals. Finally, he gets his first on Valentine's Day. Michigan controls the ensuing faceoff. 8 minutes, 9 seconds remaining. Wolverines have a 2-0 lead. Michigan at neutral ice. Adam Valentini sends the puck all the way around the boards. It's slowed down by Radler, and Penn State controls. Lawback through center ice, loses the puck. Puck finds Michael Hage, who centers to Adam Valentini. Valentini through the crease, stands, waits, backhands, blocked, but in front of the net. Penn State clears outside the blue line. Matt DeMarsico working now on Asher Barnett. Takes a fall in transition. Dakota Rayo Mullen cuts the puck off, and Dakota Rayo Mullen falls through the slot. Amon, Lawback, shot, score. Penn State gets that one right back.
Well, we were just talking a couple of minutes ago about how neither of these offenses could really get it going. It was a defensive battle. All of a sudden, it's 2-1 Michigan. Penn State now getting on the board. And both of these offenses are getting things going here early in the first period.
Some weird transition play from Matt DeMarsico. He lost his skates, and then Dakota Rayo Mullen lost his skates. Finally centered to Casey Amon. Moved it back for Lawback, just in the slot, one-on-one with Ivan Kovic. Slotted it on the right side, down low. Goal, Penn State. 2-1 Michigan, 7:33 remaining. We might have another barn burner tonight. It was seriously one of the all-time games last night. One of the best sporting events I've seen here on campus. I'll see in a while. Tonight, shaping up to be of similar stature. Nolan Collins for Penn State moves it to Casey Amon, who dumps it in deep for Penn State. Tyler Duke controls for Michigan. Backhands it in his own defensive zone to Cole McKinney. Cole McKinney skates entirely the neutral ice, moves towards the red line near the net. Now back out to Luca Fantilli at the blue line. Drag, shoots, saved by Radler. Got a shot through, a nice hang release. Puck finds Garrett Shifsky behind the Penn State net. Moves over to Ben Schoen for the Nittany Lions. Penn State now controls, and they skate behind their net, controlling down a goal with 6:40 remaining. Penn State trying to beat a Michigan forecheck in Michigan's offensive zone, and Michigan's forecheck keeping Penn State unable to clear. Michigan now controls in their own offensive zone. Another long shifting coming for these Nittany Lions defensemen. In front of the crease goes the puck, and Kevin Radler finally covers up the puck after a lot of jostling through the crease. Will Horkoff was there. Josh Earnesty was there. Whistles finally blow. 6:19 remaining in the first period. Timeout on the ice. 2-1 Michigan.
I'll tell you what, one thing I've really liked to see so far is Luca Fantilli in the offensive zone. They're giving him a little bit of space when he gets the puck along that blue line, and he's just throwing it in there. See what he can get out of it. When they're going to give you an open lane to the net, and you might have a defender kind of down low there, but he's just taking what he gets, and that's all you can do, really, when you're on that blue line. Created a goal opportunity earlier, almost another opportunity there. So he's just been really aggressive with it, and that's how you're going to score goals in a game like this, with a great goalie and some great defensemen that have been playing well, but a 2-1 Michigan lead. And that's, I think, a lot of it thanks to Luca Fantilli so far.
2-1. Yost is once again packed out. Another full Children of Yost student section. Sold out arena. It's a great environment, one of the premier ones in college hockey. Beautiful city of Ann Arbor.
Of course it's packed. Why wouldn't it be? Top 10 matchup here, Michigan, Penn State.
Number 6, Penn State. Number 2, Michigan. Yost does their part, sells out almost every time. Michigan basketball played today. Luca, you went to the game, right?
That was a fun game.
30-point win over UCLA. They're also number 2 in the country, might move up to number 1 in the coming week. Michigan hockey looking to have that same fate. Number 2, they got a win last night in overtime. Only 2 points, but still a win. Up 2-1 here tonight. A lot of excitement around Ann Arbor sports, University of Michigan sports.
Tell you what, I haven't been this excited for March in a long time, especially with this winter we've been having too.
Sure, it's been a long winter. Back in action is Michigan. They win the faceoff in their offensive zone. Tyler Duke sends a shot just a little wide. Penn State controls behind their own net. They flick it out to neutral ice. Jaden Perron controls and makes a turnover at the block end. Luke Misa sends a shot wide. Had a running partner, Aiden Fink, and decided not to pass it. Michigan controls in their defensive zone. TJ Hughes advancing. Moves across his own blue line, now the red line, and now the opposing blue line. Jaden Perron has it, backhands it kitty corner. Penn State controls in their own territory. Jared Crespo at the block end, backhands it deep. Tyler Duke there for the Wolverines, making sure Jared Crespo couldn't get his own puck. Nick Moldenhauer now through center ice, dumps a puck in around the boards, and Drew Schock will get there first for the Wolverines. Other 4 Wolverines change. Penn State controls a Drew Schock centering pass. Reese Lawback steps in front of it, and now Adam Valentini takes the puck away from him. Sends it into the Michigan offensive zone. Gavin McKenna deep for the Nittany Lions, trying to control it, and he eventually does, and then loses it one more time. Valentini at the right circle, circling, looking for help. Turnover to Gavin McKenna. Penn State the other way with McKenna. The projected number 1 pick in the 2026 NHL draft finds J.J. Webush. Weebush drops for Christensen. Christensen shot, saved by the pad of Ivan Kovic. Penn State, a good opportunity in transition, some pressure. Law back controls for Penn State, into the slot to Marsico. Tries the backhand, blocked by Ben Robertson. No shot given. Puck now flies out through the neutral zone to Penn State's defensive zone, and it will be icing called. Puck was moving pretty slow for icing, but it'll be icing. It'll go back towards Michigan's defensive zone. 4:37 left in the first period, 2-1 Michigan.
Penn State starting to put some offensive pressure back. We've kind of seen a little bit of a lull in their offense for a little bit. They put that one goal through, but they just haven't been creating a whole lot of opportunities. They're starting to put pressure. They got a couple shots on, and they're going to come back here and do it again in this offensive zone after this faceoff.
Michael Hage takes the faceoff opposite Nick Chinda-Graves, and Hage wins for the Wolverines. They flick it out to center ice. Puck controlled by Chinda-Graves in center ice. Drops for Christensen. He throws the puck into the zone. Now the puck is sent back outside the zone, and Penn State has to re-enter. Nick Chinda-Graves scored a goal last night, enters the zone with the puck on his stick. At the left circle, he drops back and spins backhands the puck behind the Michigan net. Matt DeMarsico looking for it. Centers to Chinda-Graves. DeGraves looking for any space he can. Far side. Nolan Collins sends a shot. Pad save Ivan Kovic. Puck exits the Michigan zone. Penn State still controls. Lev Katzen trying to enter. He had a number of penalties last night, trying to minimize those tonight. No penalties so far. There were a lot of penalty minutes last night. Michigan controls in their own zone. Asher Barnett moves it for Dakota Rayo Mullen. Rayo Mullen connects with Garrett Shifsky at center ice, and Shifsky tips it in deep. Penn State controls, though, behind their own net. Taken away by Cole McKinney at center ice. Enters with Garrett Shifsky. Shifsky sends it deep for McKinney at the red line. McKinney drops it back to the point with Tyler Duke. Sends a puck towards the net. It's deflected midway there and up and out of play behind the Penn State net. We'll reset with a face-off. 3:19 remaining in the first period. Michigan still leading 2-1.
You just mentioned no penalties so far here tonight. I'm a little surprised by that, especially with what we saw last night, the physicality between these two teams. And tonight now, kind of staying a little more disciplined, just going back and forth and letting the play do the talking, I guess.
A lot of fights last night. J.J. Weebush, a game misconduct. You know he's coming out with a vengeance. But no penalties so far, and a lot of times penalties determine the game, but it's 2-1 and strictly 5-on-5 full-strength play. Offensive zone face-off for the Wolverines. Left circle, Keenan Draper wins. Tyler Duke tries a slap shot. Saved eventually by Radler. Some deflections in front. Penn State going the other way. Gavin McKenna drags, shoots, high side, misses. Stick save. Ivan Kovic up and out of play. McKenna is so quick. Number 1 pick in the 2026 NHL draft. Likely misses on a save there.
And we can see why he's such a top prospect. He's just flying up and down the ice. And something we've seen in the last couple of minutes from Penn State is that transition offense. Michigan, they'll miss down in the slot a little bit, and Penn State's just going right back, and Michigan's got no one back there to defend. They're doing a great job, and it feels like at some point they might get a golden opportunity out of that.
Luke Misa and Keenan Draper, left circle offensive zone face-off for Penn State. 3:07 left in the first period. Michigan leads by 1. Aiden Fink controls the face-off for Penn State. Moves it Jackson Smith. He had a night last night, 2 goals. Tries the shots deflected at the point of attack. Jared Crespo controls for Penn State, and the puck leaks out to center ice. Penn State will have to re-enter. Jackson Smith, Columbus Blue Jackets prospect, controls in his own territory. 2:47 and counting left in the first period. Penn State enters their offensive zone. Luke Misa, the Flames prospect, drops, sends it deep behind Michigan's net. Nick Moldenhauer cuts it off. Gavin McKenna steals it from him. Tyler Duke fighting with Luke Misa. Misa controls from the Nittany Lions. Moves it back to the point with Jared Crespo. Crespo sends one to the slot. McKenna controls right circle. Drops Jackson Smith. Hangs. Shot wide. McKenna controls for Penn State. Ivan Kovic might have gotten a glove on it. Crespo tries one more shot. This one's blocked by the skate of Keenan Draper. Puck is sent high in the air. Jackson Smith catches it right at the blue line. Keeps it in. Puck floats right to the crease of Ivan Kovic, and he covers it up. McKenna was just trying to send one maybe on a pass. Pass happened to be on line with the net. Ivan Kovic, a late reaction to get his stick down, covered it up. Face off, right circle, Penn State offensive zone. 2:11 left in the first period. Michigan up 2-1.
Crespo on the blue line there was kind of calling for the puck a little bit from his teammates there. They were kind of tussling near the circle with the Wolverines and unable to get a good look in that offensive zone opportunity.
Michigan wins their defensive zone faceoff. Dakota Rayo Mullen controls and moves to Asher Barnett. Barnett gets access to the red line and sends the puck deep. Kevin Radler behind his own net controls and sends it out to Matt Godowski. Godowski keeps it moving, but it's kept in the Michigan zone by Asher Barnett, and then he tries a slap shot. It's blocked outside the Michigan zone. Penn State controls in neutral ice, skating backwards into their own zone. Matt DeMarsico now controls for Penn State through the block M, gains advantage of the offensive zone. J.J. Webush turns and sends the puck all the way around the boards. Reese Lawbeck centers it. Puck finds Matt Godowski, the defenseman behind Michigan's own net. A little out of position. Lawbeck centers to the slot. DeMarsico hangs, drags, tries a shot. It's deflected by Kaysen Musket, the Wolverine who just joined the team at the new year. Michigan flicks it out to the Penn State defensive zone and changes. Good enough for a dump and change. Penn State gets control and re-enters the offensive zone. Ben Robertson moves the puck along for Michigan. Finds Malcolm Spence. Spence through the red line now to Michael Hage. Less than a minute to play in the first period. Hage shielding off two Nittany lines, trying to get control of the puck. Finds Malcolm Spence behind the Penn State net. Resets out to Drew Schock, the Ducks prospect at the point. Moves it to Hage. Hage, one-handed control of the puck, shielding off Schoen. Back to Robertson at the blue line. Robertson sends one towards the net, and it's caught by Kevin Radler, trying to get a deflection there from Adam Valentini or Malcolm Spence. Radler catches it with 36.7 remaining in the first period. Wolverines up 2-1.
Well, we saw a barrage of goals kind of halfway through this first period, and now these offenses not really able to get a whole lot of opportunities in front of the net since then. And both of these defenses doing a great job here preventing those opportunities, those odd man rushes.
Penn State has outshot Michigan 9-6, but Michigan has the edge on the scoreboard 2-1. 30 seconds to play in the first period. Penn State wins their defensive zone faceoff, flicks the puck up into their offensive zone. Scramble for the puck. Aiden Fink finds it, sends a shot on net, pad save Ivan Kovic. Nick Chindegraves controls for Penn State, sends one through the slots, deflected, and eventually Penn State controls at their own blue line. Chindegraves, centering pass, Aiden Fink, shot, save Ivan Kovic with 9.9 remaining in the first period. Big time save from the tender, and he was ready for it. It was right at him.
Michigan's going to have to be a little more disciplined on defense because Penn State is starting to get opportunities here with guys just floating right in front of the net all alone. They are going to have to stick on it a little bit more because Penn State is just getting these opportunities right in front of the net. Ivan Kovic, to his credit, doing a great job, but this defense might have to make a couple adjustments if they're going to want to keep this score at 2-1.
Under 10 seconds to play in the first period. Michigan wins their defensive zone faceoff, looking to just salt away the last couple seconds. And they will. Penn State controls in their own defensive territory, but willing to let the clock expire. 20 minutes down here in Ann Arbor. Michigan leads 2-1 after the first period. Luca, any summarizing thoughts on that first 20 minutes?
Well, it's been back and forth, up and down the ice. Both of these offenses did a great job, especially in that middle of that first period, like we were saying. And I think we're going to start to see a little more physicality here as we get towards the second period. These teams are starting to get a little more chippy. We saw lots of penalties last night. So this should be a good one, 2-1 Michigan lead, but still anyone's game. And obviously these teams, they know what they're fighting for. And I think we're going to start to see a little more physicality as this game continues.
All right, we'll be back after the first intermission on WCBN Sports. Don't go anywhere. 2-1 Michigan. welcome on back to Ann Arbor. 2-1 Michigan in the first intermission. Michigan has the lead. Luca, Nowinski here with Theo Shernoff. I'm Theo Shernoff. That's Luca Nowinski. Luca, any thoughts on that first period?
Well, there was a lot going on, I think. Wasn't necessarily what we were expecting. I think we expected after last night some physicality, some penalties, power plays, things going on. We saw a little bit of a different story. We saw skaters flying up and down the ice, but we also saw some good goalie play, especially from Jack Ivankovic. Penn State getting a lot of shots, a lot of opportunities in that offensive zone, and Ivankovic shutting them down. This Penn State defense has been pretty good, despite allowing 2 Michigan goals. But also these offenses are just putting constant pressure up and down the ice, and it's just been a really great showing so far tonight.
You mentioned it. The 2 Michigan goals, just great uses of skill. First one, Cole McKinney, redirection of a Luca Fantilli shot. Second one, Ben Robertson did it himself for his first goal of the season. It's the last Wolverines starter to get on the goal sheet besides Case and Musket. This is just his 8th game. Puck drop in the second period underway. Won by Penn State, retreating in their own zone. Jackson Smith goes and gets it. Michigan pressuring, though. Jackson Smith takes out the legs of his teammate Jared Crespo. Some fresh ice, a lot of players falling early. Matt DeMarsico for Penn State controls through the neutral zone. Passes it to the far back wall. Jack Ivankovic controls it, slows it down, but Penn State eventually takes it away. Ivankovic back in his crease, and in front the puck goes. Matt DeMarsico tries to turn and rip one. It's blocked by Tyler Duke at the point of attack. Jared Crespo controls at the block end. Passes to Reese Lawback. Enters offsides. He has to pull the puck back out. Crespo lost his stick, so he has to exit the ice. Jackson Smith controls in his own territory. Penn State enters up the ice. Matt DeMarsico cutting towards the slot. Cut off by Nick Moldenhauer. And Moldenhauer controls backhands to the block end. TJ Hughes. Hughes carries it over the blue line. Drags for Moldenhauer. Tries a shot blocked by Smith. 18:55 remaining in the second period. 2-1 Michigan. TJ Hughes controls at the right circle. Centers a pass. Jaden Perron was there. Just missed the redirect to the right side of the right goalpost. Now Nick Moldenhauer working. Tries to center a pass through the slot. Jaden Perron was there but missed the pass. Puck floats all the way back to Jack Ivankovic in his own territory. Resets. Backhands it to the far side. Through the neutral ice the puck goes. Intercepted by Matt Godowski of Penn State. 2-1 Michigan. TJ Hughes controls in his own defensive zone. Dangerous move, trying to skate through his own crease. Loses the puck. Penn State controls now. Aiden Fink, a shot from the point. Knocked down by Ivankovic and covered up. 18:15 remaining in the second period. Michigan still leads by 1.
TJ Hughes had a really nice, savvy play in the offensive zone for Michigan on their last trip down there. Just kind of skating right through the defenders, finding a teammate right in front of the net. That was a goal opportunity. Obviously didn't go in, but that's the kind of play that you're going to want to see from this Michigan offense if they want to keep pouring on the goals here in this second period.
It'll be a right circle face-off. Penn State's offensive zone for Cole McKinney and Nick Chindegraves. Michigan wins the face-off. Goes behind their own net to Asher Barnett. Barnett moves it along to Aiden Park in the neutral zone. Keeps it moving, Garrett Shifsky. Puck finds Cole McKinney in the offensive zone. Rayo Mullen, a centering pass. Shot, saved by Radler. What a save.
It's getting a little chippy down there. We're going to start seeing probably some guys in the penalty box soon. I can feel the intensity ramping up here in this one.
How about that, though? Cole McKinney had a great centering backhand. Rayo Mullen, one-on-one. Radler knocked it down with his glove and covered it up, saving a goal, keeping the lead at 1. Michigan still leads 2-1, just 2 minutes into the second period. But a great opportunity there for Dakota Rayo Mullen.
Radler just barely saved that one. He almost couldn't find it for a second there.
Michigan wins the faceoff. Asher Barnett sends a shot from the blue line. Sails just high. Cole McKinney in pursuit. Nick Chindegraves controls for Penn State. Ben Schoen gets it, and the puck floats up the ice towards the Michigan defensive zone behind Michigan's net. Asher Barnett controls. Flicks it out towards the blue line and into neutral ice. Now the puck floats just into Penn State territory before Penn State kicks it back out. Aiden Park fighting, finds Nolan Collins of the Nittany Lions. Ben Schoen gets control, sends it deep for Penn State. Ivan Kovic there waiting for it behind his own net. Sends it up the ice. Aiden Park controls into Michigan's offensive zone. Bounces off the boards to himself, takes a hit from Jared Crespo, moves it further deeper into Penn State territory for Michael Hage. Hage controls, skating back up towards the right blue line, now skates along the entire blue line, straddling it, shielding off Jackson Smith's defense. Hage turns around, a lot of stick handling. Spence a one-timer from the point, gets deflected by Adam Valentini. Valentini sends it towards the net, hits the pads of Kevin Radler, keeps it moving. Malcolm Spence returns it again into Fantilli. Fantilli floats one through the crease, and finally Penn State controls. Jared Crespo tried to move forward, instead moved the puck backwards. Hage tries to center it to Malcolm Spence. Jackson Smith gains control, and finally Luke Misa is able to exit the defensive zone from Penn State. Penn State moves into their offensive zone, and the puck is sent up and out of play by Michigan. Finally, Penn State breathes another long defensive zone shift for the Nittany Lions. Those tend to stack up, huh, Luca?
This is why Michigan has the lead in this game. Penn State, they still have more shots on the board. It's 12-9 in that category, but Michigan's just had more quality opportunities in that offensive zone with open looks, and they've been in that offensive zone for long stretches of time, and that's really killing this Penn State defense. That's a recipe for more goals for these Wolverines.
Penn State leads the shots department 12-9. Michigan still up 2-1. 16:30 remaining in the second period. Penn State wins the faceoff in their offensive zone, and Matt Godowski sends one on net. Ivan Kovic a save. A rebound shot. Saved again by Ivan Kovic. Puck finds Cade Christensen at the point. Penn State moving efficiently. Aiden Fink at the blue line. Skates, drops for Christensen. Christensen with some open ice in front of him. Takes his time. Finds Gavin McKenna in the slot. Quick release. Blocked by Draper at the point of attack. McKenna gets his own rebound. Luke Misa redirects for Matt Godowski. Back to Misa. McKenna in the slot. Godowski a try. Right pad save, Ivan Kovic. Michigan running in transition. Ernestine has Horkoff far side. Ernestine moves. Drops Horkoff off his skate. Redirected away by Kevin Radler, the goalkeeper for Penn State, and kept moving. Penn State exits their defensive zone to Reese Lawback. Lawback gets a hit by Nick Moldenhauer, and the puck keeps moving. Finds Tyler Duke of Michigan deep in his own zone. Now Jaden Perron takes the puck from deep in his own zone all the way into Michigan's offensive zone. Perron a drag, leaves it for Hughes. He couldn't catch up to it. Kevin Radler picked up the puck, and it's blown dead with 15:28 left. Ivan Kovic, a number of saves there. Radler had one or two. Interesting sequence, still no goals in that. 2-1 Michigan.
Well, Penn State might have been listening to what we were saying up here, because we just kind of saw a role reversal. Penn State putting pressure in the offensive zone on that Michigan defense and being in that zone for a long time, and then Michigan finally getting a turnover and flying up the ice, almost getting a golden opportunity right in front of the net there.
Penn State is going to challenge something on the ice. So the officials going to the monitor to see what's going on. Luca, it's 2-1. Michigan only has 9 shots. Penn State has 14. This extended possession time is kind of different from what happened last night, right? Last night it was more of back and forth physical, a lot of 4-on-4 play. How do teams in the second half of back-to-backs adapt to longer offensive time? Is that kind of what they're hoping for, maybe a slower game?
Maybe. What I'm interested in here is, and this is something we've kind of been talking about throughout this one, just, I don't want to say it's a lack of physicality, because I think both these teams are still playing very physical, but at the same time, we haven't seen, we're starting to see it now maybe in the second period, but we haven't seen a whole lot of big hits, definitely not any fights so far, so it's a little bit interesting. These teams kind of coming out with maybe a different strategy a little bit here. We've seen a little more quickness, some skill in front of the net. So it's kind of a different game that we're seeing here tonight. You know, maybe on the second half of a back-to-back, you know, players are, I don't know if they're a little more tired, or, you know, there's different things going on there, but just I think they're playing a little more disciplined in terms of the penalty box. At the same time, these defenses have been good except for the occasional mistake where they're leaving someone open right in the middle of the net. Maybe some missed assignments here and there for both sides, and that's kind of been the story of this game and the reason why these teams have the goals that they do.
Looks like Penn State is challenging a Josh Ernessy hit on Aiden Fink in Michigan's defensive zone a while back. Seeing if it was legal or not. (15:28) remaining in the second period. 2-1 Wolverines. February 14th, Michigan off to one of its best starts in history. They have struggled in any area, which they haven't. If they have one area where they struggle, it's the second half of games. The second game of 2-game series is they're undefeated in the first games. Saturdays have been their weak spot, and especially Saturdays coming off of overtime wins. I think 3 times they have dropped that after an overtime win in the game 1, which is what happened last night. Shootout win for the Wolverines. Ivan Kovic had 3 great saves in the shootout. Michael Hage, a nifty goal, delivered the win for Michigan. Officials still conferring. And finally, they exit the penalty box. They will be out with a ruling. We will give it to you when we have access to it. Still no penalty. Penn State loses their challenge. So Michigan continues on as they were. Coach Guy Godowski for Penn State was looking to review a hit by Ernessy, and no penalty called. Godowski a little upset, looking at his assistant coaches like, what was that? Nevertheless, we play on. 15:28 remaining in the second period. 2-1 Michigan. Offensive zone face-off in the left circle for the Wolverines.
I finally gotten a chance to take a look at that play. It didn't really look like there was a whole lot there to me, besides just maybe a little more physicality than we've seen so far here tonight. And I think maybe things will start ramping up now that we're getting some hits into the boards and some things going on here.
DJ Hughes and Reese Lawback ready for the faceoff. Puck is dropped. Penn State wins, controlled by Nick Fascia. Penn State in their own defensive zone. Matt DeMarsico moves it for Fascia. Fascia moves it to Webush, who gets a stick on it, moves it to Michigan's zone. Ivan Kovic hands to Robertson. Penn State playing with only 10 healthy forwards tonight. They had 11 coming into the game yesterday. Lost Dane Dowiak. Penn State, Matt DeMarsico moving through Michigan's zone, loses an edge, tries to flick the puck up. It ends up going out of the Michigan zone and into neutral ice. Reese Lawback regains it, enters Michigan's zone, but he's shielded off by Ben Robertson. So TJ Hughes of the Wolverines can get the puck. Hughes back to Robertson through neutral ice, sends it around the boards from left to right. Radler cuts it off behind his own net and uses his stick to send it up into the netting behind his own net, somewhat unintentionally. So it'll be a face-off in Michigan's offensive zone. 14:39 remaining, 2-1 Wolverines. Second period.
I'll tell you what, one of the stories, I think the story maybe of this weekend has been Jack Ivan Kovic. We talked about how he struggled a little bit last weekend coming back from his injury against Michigan State. And last night he had a great showing, especially down the stretch in that one. And so far only 1 goal allowed on 14 Penn State shots.
Jackson Smith controls for Penn State, moves it up to Lev Katzen. Katzen sends the puck through the crease, no one home to bat it in for Penn State. Now puck up against the right boards in Michigan's defensive zone. Dakota Rayo Mullen of the Wolverines emerges. He's skating back in his own left circle, crosses it to Asher Barnett, who gets it to Kason Musket, and Musket controls, but it went up into Michigan's bench, and it will be blown dead right there at that spot. 14:12 remaining in the second period. Still 2-1 Michigan. All 10 skaters will change.
One thing we haven't seen too much from Michigan in the second period as much as we did in the first is that constant pressure that they had in that offensive zone. They haven't really had much time putting pressure on the goaltender Radler so far in the second period, almost 6 minutes in. They're going to have to kind of change that and get back to what they were doing in the first period here if they want to increase this lead.
Face off just outside Michigan's offensive zone. Won by Penn State. Cade Christensen moves it to Gavin McKenna. McKenna to Godowski. Godowski enters Michigan's defensive zone. Adam Valentini controls, number 92, the 17-year-old for Michigan, through center ice. Finds Michael Hage. Hage, nice drag move. Backhand, just off the helmet of Kevin Radler and high. Hage gets his own rebound after a rebound. Another shot sent in from the point, deflected by Radler, and Penn State emerges. McKenna moves it up to Misa, and Misa enters, but the play is blown dead. Tyler Duke and Aiden Fink both a little shaken up, checking on each other, making sure they're okay. Some good sportsmanship here. 13:37 remaining the second period. 2-1 Michigan. What a move by Michael Hage.
Yeah, what a nifty play we just saw there by Hage. I mean, just weaving through defenders and getting a look that, like we were just saying, you know, Michigan hasn't really found themselves in many opportunities to score goals here in the second period, and all of a sudden Hage just finding a way to get things going for the offense.
Michigan wins the faceoff. Dakota Rayo Mullen sends it all the way around the boards from the blue line. Keenan Draper behind his opposing team's net. Draper at the left circle, moves to Horkoff, tries to circle, gets denied at the front door, and Penn State clears. Dakota Rayo Mullen being pressured by J.J. Webush, who had a game misconduct for butt ending yesterday. Back in the game, playing some second period action for the first time this series. Matt DeMarsico at the block M for Penn State, backhands it deep for the Nittany Lions. Asher Barnett keeps it moving, and it trickles out to the blue line of Michigan's defensive zone, finally into Michigan's offensive zone with Keenan Draper. Draper fighting with Webush and Collins on the ground, and Webush eventually emerges, goes through his own legs to Lawback. Lawback enters Michigan's zone, hands to Gavin McKenna. McKenna leads Webush on his backhand left side. Tries to backhand it towards the center, cut off by Asher Barnett. Barnett moves it, but it's cut off by Jackson Smith of Penn State. Smith goes kitty corner to Jared Crespo, who sends it back in along the boards behind Michigan's net. Ben Robertson keeps it moving for Michigan, but Jackson Smith stops it at the blue line for the Nittany Lions. Puck finds Ben Schoen at the slot, and Schoen resets to Crespo at the right point. Crespo, a slap shot, just misses wide to the right. Ivan Kovic might have got a pad on it. Penn State, a long offensive zone possession. Crespo flicks one towards the net. Rayo Mullen cuts it off. Finally, Hughes gets control in neutral ice. Michigan, finally, this shift gets some offensive zone time. TJ Hughes centers. Jackson Smith cuts it off. Great defense by the youngster. Penn State back the other way in transition. Aiden Fink on the left circle. Centers for Smith. Smith through the crease to Schoen. Ivan Kovic got a stick on it to steer it away. Michigan the other way. TJ Hughes in a long shift. Fantilli centers to Perron. Perron shoots off the post. Misses. Tyler Duke had a chance for a rebound. Radler saved it and covered it up. Second time Michigan has drawn iron, and I believe Jaden Perron has both. Might even crossbar both times. Just a few inches too high. It indeed was crossbar. 11:33 remaining in the second period. Timeout on the ice. 2-1 Michigan.
Michigan had a man advantage in that offensive zone and that opportunity there, and just hitting the iron once again, but they're starting to find some quality looks. Penn State has had a lot of looks in the offensive zone, but Michigan's are of a little more quality. Obviously, they haven't converted here in this second period, but they're starting to find their offense, and I think it's only a matter of time before they're able to convert on one of these, because they're just flying high in this offensive zone so far in the second period. Even more so, I would say, maybe than the first period, although the output so far in terms of goals hasn't been there.
2-1 Michigan. Shots are at 15-12 Penn State.
We're seeing Penn State put some more pressure on the Michigan defense, but Michigan's done a good job of holding strong down there in that defensive zone and just clogging the lanes for the Nittany Lions. It's been tough for Penn State to get any quality looks so far in this second period. About 8.5 minutes in.
(2-1 Michigan, 11:33 remaining in the second period. Offensive zone, right circle face-off for Michigan. Lev Katzen in there with Cole McKinney. McKinney wins the faceoff. Back to Drew Schock at the point. Schock gives give and go with Cole McKinney, who sends it deep. Garrett Shifsky behind the Penn State net. Trying to find the puck at his feet, kicks it to himself, and eventually it finds Nick Chindegraves of the Nittany Lions. Moves it back, but Aiden Park cuts it off for the Wolverines. He's smushed up against the boards by Cade Christensen. Garrett Shifsky finds it, and Park is now free. Redirects it back to Shifsky. Shifsky along the red line, tries to drag it, gets it cut off by Katzen. Chindegraves now moving and gets cut off by Ben Robertson at the blue line. Michigan still in their offensive zone, has not gone out to the neutral zone yet. Robertson to the slot with Cole McKinney. Catches, tries to redirect back to Robertson, but Chindegraves got enough of a stick on it to move it back to Michigan's own defensive zone. Robertson, the first one there. He played fetch, got it to Cole McKinney. Malcolm Spence now for Michigan. Backhands it to himself off the boards, gets it behind Penn State's net. Blows an edge, and Penn State regains possession. Reese Lawback in the neutral zone, loses it. It's taken by Dakota Rayon-Mullen, who then loses it right back to Marsico. Back to Reese Lawback in the slot. Lawback gets cut off by Barnett and Spence, and Michigan emerges to the neutral zone. A Michael Hage pass no one was ready for. And then finally Adam Valentini gets it for Michigan. To Hage on the right side, but he was offsides. I thought he was, and he was. A little bit of a delayed whistle, but Hage enters the blue line a little bit too quickly. 10-10 remaining in the second period. 2-1 Michigan in the second game of a back-to-back against Penn State, where Michigan took the shootout opener yesterday.
Close call there on the blue line. One thing for Michigan on that last kind of push in the offensive zone, starting to get elements of what we saw in that first period again, of those sustained stretches there in that offensive zone. They'll have an opportunity here with the faceoff to do the same again.
In the second period. Michigan has a 1-goal lead. Faceoff just outside the Wolverines' offensive zone. Will Horkoff and Aiden Fink ready. Two future NHL players for sure. Luca Fantilli controls it off the faceoff, sends it deep into Penn State's zone around the boards. It's gathered by Jackson Smith, moves it up to the neutral ice to Luca Fantilli, but no one is ready for it. It will be not icing, not called icing. Puck took too long to get there. And it goes back out to the point with Jackson Smith in Penn State's offensive zone. Finally, they get some offensive zone time. Aiden Fink tries to center a pass. Tyler Duke was waiting for it for Michigan. He backhands it high up in the air. Jared Crespo corrals it for Penn State. Behind his own net, Crespo goes. Evading defenders, off the boards. Miscommunication on the pass, no one home. Will be icing as it goes the length of the ice. Michigan, an offensive zone faceoff incoming. 9:29 remaining in the second period, still up 2-1.
We've been talking about Michigan's sustained stretches in the offensive zone, and coming into this weekend, they are first in Division I in terms of offensive zone time per game at around 8 minutes in that offensive zone for every game, and that's what we've seen from their offense again here tonight, showing their true identity, and it's showing up on the scoreboard. We'll see if they can add to it in the second period. They're starting to get some looks here.
Still scoreless in this period are both squads. Michigan controls the faceoff. Tyler Duke being pressured on the left side boards. Jackson Smith eventually takes the puck from him. Passes to Crespo. Crespo can't corral it. Eventually does. Moves it up to Gavin McKenna. Trying to connect with Aiden Fink, but the pass was anticipated by Jaden Perron. Cuts it off, sends it back around the boards. Kevin Radler cuts it off, netminder for the Nittany Lions. Jackson Smith now behind his own net. Moves it up to Luke Misa in neutral ice. Misa moving, hands to McKenna. McKenna tries a centering pass. It's deflected up and out of play. A lucky fan will get a souvenir. 8:56 remaining in the second period. Michigan still up 1.
That's another great example of Michigan's defensemen staying home. Penn State is kind of getting opportunities to go down the ice and, possibly try to get a shot on goal, but Michigan is just staying home, sticking like glue, and Penn State's unable to get anything going here. There's no open look to the goal, no open teammates. Michigan's defense has really amped it up here in the second period.
Face-off in Penn State's offensive zone. Again, won by Michigan. They seem to have the edge in the face-off battle here tonight. Kaysen Musket at neutralized, hands to Schock. Schock with a head of steam down the lane, misses just wide on a shot. Puck to Nick Chindegraves in Penn State's offensive zone. He enters, trying to shield up Ben Robertson. Ben Robertson, a great stick check, gets the puck loose. Back to Christensen. Gadowski, a one-timer. A change-up through the lane. Almost caught Ivan Kovic off guard. He got there just in time. Michigan controls. A pass by Drew Schock, ill-advised from his own side of the 50. Goes against the boards, and it will be icing. Face-off battle, 20-9 in favor of Michigan. I was right in that instinct. They are dominant in that category here tonight.
And that's what's helped them, especially in that offensive zone, even when there's a stoppage, just being able to win those faceoffs and continue these stretches of pressure that they're putting on Penn State. It's kind of unbelievable they haven't had a goal yet in this second period with just the way they're playing on offense.
Cole McKinney and Reese Lawback ready for the faceoff. It's won by Michigan yet again, and they flick it up deep, and it will be another icing. Michigan so eager to get the puck down there, forgot the rules of the game.
They just want to score. What more could you want out of a hockey game? I mean, Michigan with this offense, they've had a lot of looks. That's the interesting thing about this. They've found ways to get right in front of the net with open looks. Just haven't been able to convert as much here in this second period, but still holding that 2-1 lead. Ivan Kovic is playing absolutely fantastic so far here tonight. And Michigan's defense continuing to just put pressure on those Nittany Lions, keeping them from finding any quality looks themselves.
8:12 remaining in the second period. McKinney and Lawback ready for the faceoff again. Lawback moved early. He's forced to exit. Now he's given a second chance. Puck is dropped and won by the Nittany Lions, where it feels like the first time in forever. Crespo controls at the blue line for them. He loses an edge, and it's controlled by Matt DeMarsico. Crespo backhands it deep behind the Michigan net. Robertson retrieves for Michigan. Kason Musket hands to Cole McKinney at neutral ice. McKinney flicks it kitty corner. It's caught by Crespo and set down at his own feet. Crespo reroutes into the neutral zone and enters Michigan's offensive zone. Sends one hard off the backboards right behind the Michigan net. 45-degree angle, and it's gathered by Penn State in the slot. Malcolm Spence takes it away from Michigan. Adam Valentini now out in transition for the Wolverines. A stick has been slashed in transition. I sensed the penalty coming there. Valentini was in good position. Matt DeMarsico was slashing left and right and finally got a piece of the stick for Penn State. Excuse me, it was not DeMarsico. It was Lawback. Lawback wearing an A on his chest will head to the bench. Power play for the Wolverines incoming.
Well, we were wondering when we were going to get one of those power plays from either of these two teams, and it's Penn State who commits an error first and heads to the penalty box. This was big in the game last night. Michigan with a lot of pressure being put on those power plays. We'll see if they can do the same thing here in the second period.
Michigan, one of the best power plays in the nation, but Penn State, the best penalty kill in the Big Ten. So, top power play in the Big Ten, best penalty kill in the Big Ten. Unstoppable object meets immovable force, or whatever they say.
This is the matchup to watch right here. These 2 minutes are going to be huge.
Face off in Michigan's offensive zone, won by Michigan. Ben Robertson skates to the blue line, controlling it, circles, shouted by Chinda Graves. Robertson leaves the puck deep, and finally Katzen gets control, able to clear it the length of the ice. Penn State will change. 20 minutes down this power play. Ivan Kovic behind his own net connects with TJ Hughes. This Michigan line of 5 forwards has now been reduced to a line of 4 forwards as Ben Robertson has taken the spot of Adam Valentini. Ivan Kovic behind his own net. 30 seconds already gone in this power play. Here's Robertson. Shadowed by Schoen. Drops back for Perron. Perron enters Michigan's offensive zone in a clean zone entry for the Wolverines. TJ Hughes to Perron. Perron back to Hughes. Switches the zone to Moldenhauer. Into the slot. Perron! Shot! Score! A power play bumper goal. Went Moldenhauer. Spence in the short corner. Perron in the bumper. Shot 5-hole. Score. And the top-ranked power play in the Big Ten contributes to another. 3-1 Michigan with 6:33 remaining in the second period.
I was almost getting a little concerned there that Michigan was being too patient on the power play and wasting an opportunity, but all of a sudden they're able to get it in the offensive zone and find a good look. They were they waited their turn, they took their time, and ultimately it pays off. 3-1 Michigan lead.
Their goal is to get it to that bumper. It's been Horkoff for much of the season. That time it was Perron. Perron notches a goal. 6:29 left in the second period. 3-1 Michigan. There's a timeout on the ice. So Jaden Perron via Nick Moldenhauer and Malcolm Spence picks up a goal. It's his 12th of the year, up to 29 points now. Great year for the transfer from North Dakota. You know, Fargo's a hockey town, but Ann Arbor certainly representing as a hockey town themselves.
Yeah, and of course we got a packed crowd here at Yost, because why wouldn't there be one? And the fans have been treated to a great game and a great two-game series here this weekend so far. It's been absolutely incredible, and the Michigan offense is really getting going here. We were wondering when they would get their opportunity in this second period after a first period that was full of time in the offensive zone. Finally, Penn State commits that error.
.6:29 left in the second period. .3-1 Michigan. Offensive zone faceoff for the Wolverines. Some faulty face-off nonsense. Michael Hage is asked to exit for the second time in the last couple of minutes. He is distraught.
A little too eager to keep winning those face-offs for the Wolverines.
Yep. Past shootouts, there's been some issues with face-offs. The official and the linesman has been a little annoying to both sides. No one satisfied with his work. Penn State wins the faceoff. Gavin McKenna controls for the Nittany Lions. Jackson Smith now behind his own net. Smith backhands it around into Penn State's offensive zone through the legs of Aiden Fink, but he got a skate on it, so no icing. Adam Valentini controls behind his own net. Shifsky tries to move it up the ice, and it finally finds Luca Fantilli back behind Michigan's net. Keeps getting sent back there. McKenna controls, moves it along, but Michigan takes over in their own defensive zone. A race to the end line after it's sent the length of the ice, and it's won by Jackson Smith. Garrett Shifsky was hustling after it to avoid icing, but it is icing. 3-1 still, 5:49 remaining in the second period.
It's going to be interesting to see how Penn State responds here. Now down by 2 goals, it feels a lot different than it did before. You know, before that power play goal from the Wolverines, this felt like a really even matchup. It could still go either way, but Penn State is going to need to put something on here quickly if they want to stay in this one.
Face off in Penn State's offensive left circle. Won by Penn State. Aiden Fink tries a shot. It's deflected. And it is weakly rolling by the crease. Michigan controls, but it's sent the length of the ice again, and it will be another icing. A lot of icings here for the Wolverines.
Can you blame them? They want to just do more face-offs. They like that so far. I mean, they have the advantage 23-12 over Penn State in face-offs so far here tonight. And look at another chance here now in their defensive zone.
Michael Hage set for another face-off, and the Wolverines win. See if they can avoid icing this time. This one sent out to center ice, and then back into Michigan's defensive zone, but Michigan controls it. Tyler Duke sends it after he gains possession of the mid-ice line, and it goes behind Penn State's net to Kevin Radler. Finds Matt Godowski. Now here's Luke Misa through neutral ice into Michigan's defensive zone. Penn State trailing by 2, approaching 5 minutes to play in the second period. Aiden Fink controls. Cross-ice swing. Cade Christensen's ready for another cross-ice swing. Yard sale on the ice. The stick is loose. Cade Christensen now at the point for Penn State. Penn State, some horizontal passing, moving Ivan Kovic around. Gavin McKenna, a one-timer saved by Ivan Kovic. Fight for behind the Michigan net. And it moves over to Michigan control. Josh Ernest gains control of the midline, dumps it deep and changes. Will Horkoff in pursuit. Horkoff was the first line center for a while. Now he's the third line left winger. Brandon Narada moving him around. He's had a rough couple games. Not a rough couple games, just some non-existent games from him. Ben Robertson here for the Wolverines behind his own net. Kept it moving, and it goes out to neutral ice after going around the boards. Casey Ahman for Penn State moves it to Nick Fascia, and Aiden Park gets control of it, sends it in the Michigan zone. Carter Shade moves it along. He thought he had a teammate beside him, but there was no one there. So Kason Musket picks it up for the Wolverines. Cole McKinney behind Penn State's net for Michigan. Finds Aiden Park. Aiden Park tries to backhand it. Cut off by Lev Katzen. Katzen dumps it deep for Penn State. Moves it behind Michigan's net. Ivan Kovic is there. Puck took a weird bounce off the wall and eventually finds Jared Crespo at the point. He tries a shot. It's blocked to the point of attack. Another one blocked. Saved by Ivan Kovic. He eventually covers it up. All 5 Wolverines defending their goalkeeper. It's his 3rd game back from injury, and they got in some fights yesterday about how much Penn State was touching their netminder after he covered up the puck. Another one ensuing right now. Shea Van Olm and Cole McKinney mixing it up. Nothing swinging yet, but just some words exchanged. 3:48 left in the 3rd period. 3-1 Michigan.
It's getting a little dangerous for Michigan defensively here. Starting to give Penn State some looks in the last couple minutes of this 2nd period. We'll see if Penn State will be able to capitalize on that, because they are starting to get things going offensively and finding some open looks at the net here. Great job by Ivan Kovic to keep it out, but Michigan will need to kind of go back to what they were doing defensively a little bit ago if they want to keep this lead right where it's at.
A 5 p.m. puck drop here at Michigan. A little bit of an early start. It's 3-1 Wolverines, though. They've been going to have to slow starts themselves. This one a lot better. Looking to win 5 out of the possible 6 points in this series. They won 2 yesterday. Face-off, won by Penn State, back in their own defensive zone. Jackson Smith evading Nick Moldenhauer. Fakes right, turns left, and eventually moves out of his way. Matt DeMarchico now into Michigan's offensive zone. Whiffs on a pass. Dakota Rayo Mullen keeping him down. Moves it to TJ Hughes. Hughes enters Michigan's offensive zone. Has some space after a give and go from Moldenhauer. Loses it in the crease. Puck was loose. Jaden Perron had an open net. Missed it. J.J. Wiebusch now for Penn State. Quickly flutters one towards the net. Ivan Kovic pads it away. Penn State controls. Jackson Smith sends it deep. Now Lawback in the slot. Moves it to DeMarchico. DeMarchico moving through the middle of Michigan's zone. Maybe a slash there was not called on Michigan. Moves back now out to the neutral zone. Michigan gets a partial change. Jackson Smith skates for Penn State. Sends it off the boards to Wiebusch. Wiebusch to Misa. He enters. Back to Wiebusch. One-timer blocked right in front of Ivan Kovic by Dakota Rayo Mullen. He's hobbling away, but Michigan emerges. Malcolm Spence now tries a crossing pass. Hage had it and wanted a penalty. Didn't get it. Couldn't get the penalty. We play on. 2:22 in the 2nd period. Hage tries to circle around the net and jam it in the back door, but Kevin Radler was ready. Radler, the Swede from Gävle, Sweden. A nice save there. He has 13 saves on 16 Michigan shots. Ivan Kovic has 18 saves on 19 Penn State shots. 3-1 Michigan.
My goodness, that's been a lot of opportunities for both of these squads here in the last minute or so of this of action here. I mean, just open looks right in front of the net for both of these teams, and these goaltenders are doing a great job to keep the puck out of the net in the late stages of this 2nd period.
Penn State wins the faceoff in their defensive zone. Up to Nick Chindagraves in neutral ice. He takes a big hit and falls. No arms in the air. Nolan Collins at the blue line for Penn State. Finds Lev Katzen. Sends one behind Michigan's net. And it eventually finds Shade. Shade sends one towards Michigan's net. It's gloved by Ivan Kovic and caught. Framed like a catcher. Whistle blows, and there's some mixing up in front of the net between Will Horkoff and Carter Shade. No penalties will be assessed. 1:55 remaining in the 2nd period. 3-1 Michigan.
A couple little friendly shoves in front of the net things are starting to ramp up here in the closing stages of the second period, and we'll see if Penn State can put up a little more of a fight in the third as they're down by 2 goals. But things are starting to amp up a little bit. Penn State may be a little frustrated here after a dry spell offensively.
3-1 Wolverines. Face off in Penn State's offensive right circle. Won by Michigan. Ben Robertson controls, and now Gavin McKenna tries to take it away. There's 2 Wolverines and 2 Nittany Lions pressuring at the right boards, even with Michigan's net. Jaden Perron controls, leads Cole McKinney in transition, tries to go 5-hole. Radler shuts the 5-hole last second, a save. Michigan still pressuring on offense. Finally, Penn State emerges. Jared Crespo swivels a couple times. Radler, a great save on Cole McKinney in transition, keeps the game at a 2-goal deficit. Malcolm Spence controls the Michigan zone. Jackson Smith cuts off a Malcolm Spence pass. I'm a Seahawks fan. Malcolm Smith, Super Bowl MVP champion, Super Bowl champion and MVP, a little bit different. Malcolm Spence controls, and then he commits a penalty after Jackson Smith took the puck away. I thought it was Spence. It's not Spence. It's Adam Valentini who gets handcuffed and walked into jail. Valentini will have a split penalty, 2 minutes for holding. Michigan's first of the day. Penn State a chance to get one back here. 1:09 remaining in the third period. 2 minutes of penalties. 3-1 Michigan.
Yes.
Valentini held.
Smith hit the deck pretty hard there, and helmet almost fell off. Might have hit his head on the ice a little bit. He's staying out there. Looks to be okay. That was a rough one. And now Penn State will have an opportunity down by 2 in the last minute of this second period to see what they can do, put some more pressure on, and try to make this a good game in the third period.
Penn State wins the offensive zone faceoff. Misa tries to center a pass. Gets denied and then sends it around the boards. A minute to play in the second. Gavin McKenna controls, drops for Jackson Smith. Smith skating right with the puck in front of him. Now to McKenna at the point, at the blue line. Back to Smith. Smith and McKenna now swap places. And McKenna, a one-timer, quick release through, intended towards the 5-hole of Jack Ivankovic, but it caught his stick and deflected out of play behind him. 42.1 remaining in the second period. Michigan still a 2-goal lead on the penalty kill.
A reminder about how these teams do on the power play and penalty kill. Penn State 13th in the nation in power play. Michigan's penalty kill isn't anything too crazy compared to the rest of the team's attributes here. Last night, Penn State was 1 for 3 on the power play. We'll see if they can convert here. 42 seconds to go in the second period.
Right circle face-off on the Penn State power play. Cole McKinney pretty fed up with the official as well. He leaned in early. Nick Moldenhauer takes his spot. Misa wins the face-off for Penn State. Jackson Smith skates the blue line for the Nittany Lions. Retreats for Gavin McKenna. The lefty keeps it moving. Jackson Smith now right circle. Takes a shot off iron, but the outer edge of the iron deflects back to the right corner. McKenna cuts off the puck before it hits the blue line. Luke Misa now. 17 seconds remaining in the period. Misa drops for DeMarsico. Sends a one-timer shot caught by Ivankovic. He takes his time, calm, cool, and collected. Bobbles it to himself. 14.5 remaining in the second period. 1:05 still left on this power play.
Ivankovic's done a fantastic job so far on this penalty kill for the Wolverines, just filling space exactly where he needs to, making it difficult for Penn State on that shot that went off the iron. Even if it was inside, Ivankovic, there's no way it would have gone through. Ivankovic was exactly where he needed to be and doing what he needs to do for these Wolverines to kill this penalty.
Left circle face-off with under 15 seconds to play in the period. Penn State wins it. Quick chance for them. Godowski moves it for McKenna. McKenna to the short corner, trying to find Lauback in the bumper. They can't, and Ernest clears. That will do it for the second period. Puck finds Kevin Radler. 40 minutes down in Ann Arbor. Another 51 seconds of a penalty kill incoming for Michigan in the third period, but they have a 3-1 lead going into the third. Second intermission, Luca, any summarizing thoughts on that period?
Well, I'll say the first 51 seconds of that third period might be what ends up deciding this game. If Penn State wants to win this game, they have to capitalize on this opportunity because the Michigan defense in that second period was stifling. Meanwhile, I think also Penn State's going to need to make some adjustments defensively. Gave Michigan way too many opportunities. Michigan probably could have scored another goal or two from the opportunities that they got. Got one goal in that second period. Michigan's offense continuing to put pressure. We will see how this power play for Penn State will go. I think that could be a key factor in this third period. Michigan up 3-1.
3-1 Michigan. We'll be back after the second intermission on WCBN. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Ann Arbor. Along with Luca, Nowinski, I'm Theo, Shernoff. Third period upcoming. Michigan up 3-1 over Penn State in the second game of a 3-game series. 51 seconds of a power play for Penn State. Luca, how crucial is this first 51 seconds?
I think this is the most crucial 51 seconds of this game, and that's going to be, I think this third period might be defined by these 51 seconds here. Penn State down 2 goals. If they can convert on this opportunity, all of a sudden you're putting a whole lot of pressure on Michigan here. And I think if Penn State wants a chance at winning this game, that's what they're going to have to do. The more pressure they can put, the more time Michigan is only up by 1. That's a recipe for success here, and that's what Penn State is going to need to do here. And we're already getting a little back and forth, some tussling between the Nittany Lions and the Wolverines at the start of this third period. I think it'll be an intense one, especially if Penn State can get on the board here. I mean, it's anyone's game here.
Underway in the third. 3-1 Michigan. Penn State wins the opening draw. DeMarsico rips a shot right off the bat, misses wide. Gavin McKenna controls for Penn State. Back to the point. Jackson Smith still on the power play. Here's Aiden Fink. Back to Webush at the red line. Drops for Fink at the blue line. D-to-D pass. Fink moves it to Smith. Back to McKenna now. Right circle. McKenna waiting. Throws one towards the crease. Draper gets a piece of it. And then it's sent the length of the ice by Ernest. All for Michigan Killers change.
Great job by Draper there to get it out. Absolutely incredible on the penalty kill right there.
13 seconds remaining on the power play. McKenna enters for Penn State. Tries to flutter one through the crease and does. Fink is there. Couldn't receive it and redirect it onto goal. Robertson controls. 1 second left. Michigan back to even strength. And the puck is sent the length of the ice behind Penn State's net. Penn State controls in neutral ice. Luke Misa, the Flames prospect, carries left circle, shoots to the right side of the net. Ivan Kovic snags it. Minute and 7 seconds into the period. Michigan is killed off the power play. They're still up 3-1.
We talked about those 51 seconds remaining on that power play for Penn State. Those were going to be crucial. They're unable to convert on that, and now it's going to be an uphill battle for them in the remainder of this third period. They're down by 2 goals. They're going to need to get something going on offense.
Face-off won by Michigan. They send it up to neutral ice. Cade Christensen cuts it off in front of Will Horkoff for the Nittany Lions. Sent up to Shea Van Olm. Van Olm on the left circle. Tries to pass it ahead to himself. He's shielded off by Asher Barnett. So Dakota Rayon Mullen can get control of it. He does. Skates through the block M to Jaden Perron. Perron flips it high in the air behind the Penn State net to Dakota Rayon Mullen. And it's cut off by Shea Van Olm of the Nittany Lions. Tries to pass it to Cade Christensen. Instead, TJ Hughes finds a cutting teammate. And Perron had a great shot. He shot it, but it was saved by Kevin Radler. 3-1 still, 18:20 remaining in the third period. Nice pass there by Hughes.
Yeah, just another example of Michigan setting their offense up, just getting opportunities in front of the net there. It looked like maybe they were struggling in the offensive zone a little bit, almost got pushed out, and all of a sudden just a great find right in the middle of the ice. Almost a goal-scoring opportunity there.
Yard sale on the ice as Casey Amon loses his stick. The Michigan controls. Michael Hage with a head of steam in front of the net. Lifts it up just a little high. I think it deflected up and out of play. Michael Hage, when he's moving with that speed, he can really get around anyone, get to a good angle, even when he doesn't come from one.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we've seen from both of these teams that's been a key factor in some offensive pushes here. Just the speed up and down the ice, out skating the defense, really, and just getting shots in front of the net. A lot of them haven't really gone through, even with big opportunities, but both of these teams are kind of finding themselves in similar situations throughout this game.
Penn State wins the faceoff. In their own zone, they're trying to navigate the Michigan forecheck, and eventually they do. Katzen connects with Amon. Amon got a piece of it, and it went to the Michigan boards and then found Ivan Kovic right in the crease. He decided to just cover it up, not risk anything with a 2-goal cushion. 17:49 left in the third period. Players will change.
Something worth mentioning here at this point early in the third period is just Ivan Kovic has been playing absolutely out of his mind here so far tonight,
Definitely
only allowing
his best
one
game.
goal.
His best game is coming back.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. Not even close. He's just only one goal allowed, 23 saves so far here. He's just been on fire.
DeMarcico for Penn State wins the face-off, tries to send one towards the net. It's deflected away. Dakota Rayon Mullen for Michigan controls. Aiden Park now at the blue line, tries to enter, but then is denied at the front door, has to re-enter. Everyone gets back on sides. Penn State controls behind their own net. They exit via DeMarcico and Lawback. And Ivan Kovic controls behind his net. Kaysen Musket moves it up in the air for Michigan. It's caught, gloved down by DeMarcico. But then a whistle is blown as the puck was all right around the blue line, right around Michigan's bench. So they shut things down. See what the ruling is. It'll just be a face-off outside of Michigan's defensive zone.
Opportunity here again for a face-off for the Wolverines. Wolverines have been good on the face-off, but it's Draper in there for them now. He's been maybe the weaker link, but he does win it there for the Wolverines.
Tyler Duke tries to pass it to Will Horkoff. It goes off the skate of the official. Good break for the Nittany Lions. They have some offensive zone time because of it. Can't capitalize. Now Will Horkoff in transition for Michigan. The big 6'4" sophomore sends one kitty corner to Josh Ernestine. Ernestine sends one towards the net and bounces off the backboards. Rebounded Keenan Draper. Will Horkoff unable to keep it in the Michigan zone. Has to recenter through the block end. Now to Fantilli, now to Draper in the offensive zone. Draper backhands it deep for Ernestine. Ernestine trying to scoop it out to Horkoff. Instead it finds Aiden Fink, the Predators prospect for Penn State. And now Horkoff tries to center a pass. No one home. He passes it right to Gavin McKenna. McKenna up to Fink. Fink tries to crisscross Tyler Duke. Duke was ready for it. His skate got in the way. Behind Michigan's net, the puck lies. Bunch of people trying to get around it. It's not moving. Now Fink gets a stick on it. TJ Hughes takes it away. Duke goes behind his back to Perron. Perron got a piece of it in Penn State's offensive zone. And it goes the length of the ice behind Penn State's net for the Nittany Lions to control. Here's Carter Shade, moves it to Ben Schoen. Now to Lev Katzen in the center. They're trying to tic-tac their way out of their own defensive zone. Ben Schoen enters Michigan's defensive zone for the Nittany Lions. Penn State now has to reset. Carter Shade at the red line at center ice. Sends it along the blue line to Van Olm. Van Olm to Schoen, tries to center a pass. Michigan sticks keep getting in the way of these Penn State crosses. That time, Lev Katzen got in the way of a Penn State cross. Fascia sends one towards the net. It misses wide. Shade, rebound behind Michigan's net. Shade, a shot, and hands in the air. No goal. Looked to be very close to going in. The whistle was blown dead. Ivan Kovic eventually caught it. Penn State some great chances. They're up to 25 shots. Michigan still has 18. It's 3-1 Wolverines with 15:24 remaining.
This is what's been so great about this Michigan defense here tonight. Just so much traffic in front of the net. Penn State's really had a hard time getting shots off without a deflection from one of these Michigan defenders.
Michigan wins the defensive zone faceoff. Aiden Park backhands it up to Garrett Shifsky. Shifsky lets the puck enter the zone in front of him, doesn't go after it. And Penn State controls behind their own net. Fascia off the boards to Webush. Tries to connect with Lawback. He was not on the same page. Instead, Shifsky picks it up at center ice. Around the boards to Aiden Park. Michigan trying to find some space in the offensive zone. Can't do so. Penn State goes the other way. Fight for the puck behind Michigan's net, won by Cole McKinney of Michigan. Aiden Park, some nice behind the back off the wall passing to himself, evades. The Penn State controls in their defensive zone. 14:36 remaining in the third period. Michigan up 3-1. Adam Valentini enters Penn State's zone for the Wolverines. Far side, Malcolm Spence along the board, sends it deep. A centering attempt by Michael Hage was intercepted by Penn State. They go the other way but make a turnover in the neutral zone. It's Tyler Duke skating into his own zone. Now Spence shields off a Penn State attacker. That's Gavin McKenna, and Michael Hage retrieves the puck. Valentini gets control and sends it towards the Penn State net. Kevin Radler controls with his stick, redirects to Jackson Smith. Crespo sends the puck the length of the ice, didn't get touched by anyone. It will be icing. 3-1 Michigan, 13:55 remaining. Offensive zone face-off coming.
Just a lot of back and forth in the middle of the ice there. Not many great opportunities for either of these two teams. Page had a couple right in front of that Penn State net, but just unable to capitalize. Both of these defenses have been pretty strong in this one. Even Penn State, despite allowing 3 goals, has been fairly solid in limiting Michigan's opportunities.
Offensive zone face-off for the Wolverines. Down in the shot department by 7, up 2 on the scoreboard. The winged helmet, Wolverines looking to take 5 out of the 6 possible points this weekend. In front, they have a chance. Perron denied at the doorstep. Radler, a great defensive effort there. Stopped what would be the 4th goal of the game for Michigan. McKenna the other way. Smith, a drag shot, covered up by Ivan Kovic. And Jackson Smith looks to be a little banged up. He took a hit from TJ Hughes on that shot. But Ivan Kovic covered it up. 13:36 remaining in the 3rd period.
Well, just as I was saying, Penn State's done a great job of limiting Michigan's opportunities. They get an absolutely amazing opportunity right in front of the net, unable to convert on it. Ooh, that was a big hit on Smith from TJ Hughes right as he was lining up for a shot. His glove came flying off. We'll see. He's probably going to skate on over to the bench for Penn State.
He will. Left circle, face-off in the Penn State offensive zone. Luke Misa wins it, goes right to Gavin McKenna in the slot. He tries a shot. It's blocked. Gadowski tries a rebound shot. That one saved by Ivan Kovic. Penn State still has possession. Misa, a one-timer. It's blocked and then saved and then covered up by Ivan Kovic. Michigan, their defensemen doing a great job of getting in the way of these Penn State shots.
Well, Michigan nearly got themselves into trouble a little bit there. A pass, they were trying to get up the ice and just taken right back by the Nittany Lions, almost with a goal opportunity right there. They'll stay in the offensive zone here, so Michigan's defense will need to hold strong with 13:23 to go.
3-1 Wolverines. Penn State wins the draw. Gavin McKenna skating right at the right circle, getting shielded off from the puck by Keenan Draper. Now Tyler Duke picks it up and moves it to Fantilli. Fantilli to Christensen. Christensen of Penn State was just behind the blue line, so he went out to the neutral zone, tried to throw back in, was illegally touched by Fink, and it will be offsides. Reset with a face-off. 13:09 remaining.
This is, again, a huge opportunity for the Nittany Lions. They got to get something going on offense. Only 13 minutes to go, still down by 2.
Horkoff controls for Michigan through the neutral zone. Cade Christensen takes over for Penn State in his own zone, and he evades defenders of Michigan to get into Michigan's offensive zone. Fink tries a centering pass. It's intercepted by Horkoff, the Pittsburgh Penguins prospect for the Wolverines. Horkoff tries to dump it deep. Instead, it's cut off by Matt Gadowski, so Penn State controls as Michigan went in for a change. Christensen sends one all the way around the boards to Cole McKinney of Michigan. Now controlled by Dakota Rayo Mullen for the Wolverines. DeMarsico, a nice nifty move into the crease, tried to center it. Michigan got some sticks in the way. Here's J.J. Webush. Had a hat trick in the quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament here last year. Penn State swept Michigan to end their season last year. And now a turnover forced by Aiden Park. But the play blown dead. Kevin Radler had left his post, so it was a delayed penalty. I didn't see any arms in the air. That's my fault. There will be a penalty. Dakota Rayo Mullen for hooking will get got for the minor penalty. He sits his butt down in jail. And Penn State, another big opportunity. This is the time that they would like to get one back. There's a timeout on the ice before the power play.
And we've seen them in the past couple minutes start to put a little more pressure offensively. Taking a look to see what this penalty looked like for the Wolverines.
Rayo Mullen might have held up DeMarsico right as DeMarsico was driving down that right line. So the youngster will head to the box from Northville, Michigan. He played with the U.S. National Team Development Program.
Now this is going to be a big opportunity for Penn State. Their offense has started to feel themselves a little bit here in the past couple minutes in this third period. They've gotten some open looks with even strength action. Now, man up against the Wolverines. They'll probably be able to get some more good looks here on this power play. Huge opportunity to get within one, and then you can play 10 more minutes of this third period and see what they can get. But this is an offense that has started to kind of figure things out, especially going into this third period. They're starting to see it a little bit better, get some better looks. We will see what they can do. They got 2 minutes of 5-on-4 action.
Power play for the Nittany Lions. It'll be Luke Misa, Matt DeMarchico, Gavin McKenna, Jackson Smith, and J.J. Webush on for the Nittany Lions. The Killers for Michigan win the face-off and send it the length of the ice just to the left of the net. They get set for defense. Keenan Draper pressuring high up the ice, trying to force a turnover, and he almost does. Got his stick on the puck, but now Gavin McKenna comes with a head of steam. Drops for DeMarchico, and Penn State has entered the zone. Jackson Smith, the one-timer from the point, blocked by Ernest. Aiden Fink gets the rebound, hands to Webush. Number 86 in a hockey uniform, passes to Fink. Now Fink along the blue line to Jackson Smith, and Josh Ernest got enough of his stick on the puck to deflect the puck back to the neutral zone. Penn State has to re-enter. Ernest did good enough to change for Shifsky. Shifsky, a shorthanded maestro into the game, gets a chance to cut off DeMarchico, but DeMarchico, nice move, gets pressed into the boards, loses his edge, and another penalty coming. Hand in the air. It will be a slash coming on Michigan. So a 5-on-3 opportunity for the Nittany Lions. And oh boy, Luca, after a comfortable 2-goal lead, now it's danger time.
Well, the big moment gets even bigger for the Nittany Lions, and
oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, it's on J.J. Webush.
Wow.
They blew it dead the second Michigan got the puck, but the penalty's on J.J. Webush, so it goes to 4-on-4 action. And now instead of a 5-on-3, it's a 4-on-4. So Webush picks up the penalty.
Well, I take back everything I just said about Penn State having a big moment here. Now 4-on-4 action, and then, you know, if we get through that, Michigan potentially would be on a power play. This could be huge. Penn State has to hold strong.
Michigan controls the faceoff. Drew Schock moves it along the blue line. Webush in the box, looks disgusted with the call. Michigan now in the slot. Drew Schock gets it deflected away from him. Still fighting for it. He loses an edge. Christensen moves it up to Chinda Graves. 4-on-4. Penn State moves into their offensive zone. 11 minutes remaining in the game. 45 seconds left till Dakota Rayo Mullen is free. 1.5 minutes left till J.J. Webush is free. Penn State in their offensive zone. Cade Christensen moves it along the blue line. Matt Godowski now. Godowski back to Christensen. Christensen drags and shoots. Drew Schock got in the way. He lost his footing, but it recorded a block in the process. Plenty of those tonight here for Michigan. Drew Schock now controls, retreats his course, and finds T.J. Hughes in his own territory. Hughes back the other way along the boards. 15 seconds left of 4-on-4 play, then 45 seconds of a Michigan power play. Michigan trying to waste just enough time to get to that point. Michael Hage at the center line enters the offensive zone and now loses it. Aiden Fink to Adam Valentini. Valentini finds Horkoff. Michigan gains possession of the offensive zone, and it's 5-on-4 power play. Horkoff lets a shot fly, saved by Radler. Valentini the rebound, and Penn State got away. Aiden Fink now in transition. Has law back, shorthanded. Fink shoots, saved just into the backside of the net off the boards. Michigan has another 30 seconds of power play and an odd man rush with it. Park enters. Horkoff far side, couldn't catch up to the puck. Eventually gets to it, goes off the boards. Back and kept inside the blue line by Valentini. 20 seconds left in the power play. Michael Hage to the short corner. Michigan finally sets up with Valentini. Hage, now Rayo Mullen at the point. Moves it to Horkoff at the right circle. Tries to set one through the crease. Does. Go Michigan! Will Horkoff gets back on the board. A right circle wrister rings around in the head of Radler, and Michigan goes up 3. 4-1 Michigan, 9:32 remaining in the third period.
Well, we just saw the game flip on its head there. Penn State had an odd man rush in a shorthanded opportunity. That is something they absolutely had to convert on. They have not had any opportunities like that in a long time. 2-on-1 matchup down in that offensive zone, even while they were shorthanded. Unable to capitalize, Michigan just takes it right back up the ice, gets a goal for themselves on the power play, 4-1 Michigan lead, and it's starting to look out of reach for the Nittany Lions.
That one ended up going through the 5-hole of Radler. It looked like a pass to Moldenhauer on the far side. Very well could have been, but Radler ended up getting his wickets in the way, deflected off his right pad into the back of the net. 4-1 Michigan, under 9:30 to play. The lead is 3. Michigan, much stronger defensive showing than last night's game. Penn State does have 28 shots. Ivan Kovic, 27 saves. It's been his net all year long. Crespo a chance. Saved by the blocker of Ivan Kovic. Penn State had something out of nothing. Crespo right down the slot. Let it fly. Blocker save. Ivan Kovic. Penn State has to retreat back to their own territory. Rayon Mullen and Hage pick up the assist on the Horkoff goal. Penn State sends the puck the length of the ice, but Crespo wins the race there. Tyler Duke picks it up for Michigan. Redirects to Cole McKinney. Through his own legs to Shifsky. Shifsky has Truscott far post and misses. Muscott. Truscott played last year for Michigan. Shea Van Olm for Penn State enters the offensive zone. Schoen sends one far side. It's picked up by Tyler Duke for Michigan. Godowski for Penn State moves it further into the zone. Musket keeps it moving for Fantilli. Fantilli to Cole McKinney. And the puck eventually finds Tyler Duke, and he retreats behind his own net. Cole McKinney, the San Jose Sharks prospect, likely to play with Macklin Celebrini in the future, has the first goal of the night tonight. Moves it back, and it will be Fantilli to Perron up the ice. Perron enters Penn State's defensive zone and gets sent immediately back out, back to Perron. Perron then backhands it in and elects to go for a change, or at least thinks about a change, and then just resets for a forecheck on defense. Misa to Fink. Fink enters. No one there for Penn State, unable to get 5 attackers in the zone. Here's Moldenhauer. Moldenhauer sends one towards the net. Radler redirects. In Michigan's offensive zone. 7 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. Michigan up 4-1. TJ Hughes at the right point for Michigan. Swung around, Nick Moldenhauer pressuring on Carter Shade for Penn State. Penn State controls and to Gavin McKenna. McKenna moves it to Misa. Misa to Fink. Fink trying to go right down the slot, steered away by Ben Robertson to Asher Barnett, who reconnects with Robertson, who then passes to Moldenhauer. Moldenhauer back to Robertson. Robertson in his own zone. Barnett through the neutral zone. Spinorama loses an edge trying to evade McKenna. Eventually flicks it up into Penn State's defensive zone. 6 minutes, 45 seconds remaining. Carter Shade in his own zone. Penn State connecting in their own zone, but Michigan's okay with that as long as they don't get into Michigan's defensive zone. There's icing as the puck was down the ice. But, Luca, Michigan perfectly happy with Penn State being on that side of the ice.
Yeah, absolutely. They know they have a 3-goal lead, and this isn't necessarily maybe a game they thought they were going to have a 3-goal lead, especially after how close these two teams played last night. And Michigan finding themselves comfortable here with 6:38 to go, 4-1 over the Nittany Lions.
Right circle face-off for Michigan, won by Michigan. Adam Valentini, a shot from the slot, pockets it, bottom right corner. The lead keeps on growing. 5-1 Michigan.
Well, if you're just going to leave the puck right in front of the net, Valentini will take that every day of the week. Scoring again for the Michigan Wolverines, up 5-1 over the Nittany Lions. My goodness. And that's another instance of Michigan just winning faceoffs and capitalizing on opportunities that Penn State gives. That's all you can do, and that's why they have 5 goals on the board, even with kind of a disadvantage in terms of the shots. It's been the story of the game.
Michigan's 5 goals have came from 4 NHL prospects. Cole McKinney of the Sharks, Nick Moldenhauer of the Maple Leafs, Jaden Perron of the Hurricanes, Will Horkoff of the Penguins, and that one by Adam Valentini, who will get drafted in this upcoming draft along with Gavin McKenna of the Nittany Lions. Penn State controls after the ensuing faceoff. To neutral ice it goes. Ben Schoen finds Lawback. Lawback whiffs on a pass. Rayo Mullen pressing him up against the boards. Lawback finds DeMarsico. DeMarsico right circle. Spins, loses an edge, back to Lawback. Now Draper. He whiffs on a pass and takes a big hit, but he loaded up for it. He was ready for it. DeMarsico fell as well. DeMarsico behind Michigan's net. Puck moves along and scoots to Asher Barnett. Will Horkoff there for Michigan. Finds Schoen for Penn State. Schoen whiffs. Ernestine now out in transition, and a penalty incoming on Michigan. Will Horkoff being walked to the penalty box. We'll see what the call is. He will have 2 minutes in detention. Slash on Horkoff. 5-1 Michigan. But 2 minutes of a power play coming from Penn State. If they want any chance to pull a goalie, needs to happen with a goal in this power play.
Down by 4 goals. I mean, this is, they have to convert on this power play. There's no doubt about it. It's an opportunity here, and you know, not much there from Horkoff, but just enough to get called, and that's all that matters. So Penn State will have 2 minutes. They can't even take all 2 minutes, honestly, if you ask me. Only 5:30 to go, down by 4. This is going to have to be a quick one. Find someone right in the middle of the ice with a lane and see what they can do. But Jack Ivankovic, we've talked about it. He's been absolutely incredible tonight after kind of struggling a little bit last weekend against Michigan State and then allowing a couple goals early last night. But tonight he's been absolutely stellar, as we've kind of come to expect in Ann Arbor. We'll see if he can continue that here. Penn State on the power play, needing a goal, needing multiple goals.
5 minutes, 30 seconds left in the game. Michigan up 5-1. Right circle power play face-off for the Nittany Lions. Fink and McKinney ready. It's won by Penn State. McKenna tries to reset, tries to cross it through. It's deflected, and it finds the glove of Jack Ivankovic. Snags it, and will reset 5 minutes. Ticked off Will Horkoff's timer. 5 seconds, excuse me. Jackson Smith for Penn State moves it to McKenna. McKenna right circle, thinking about a shot, thinking about a reset to Smith. Eventually goes back to Smith at the point. Smith skates to the right circle, tries a shot, just misses wide. Puck goes all the way down the ice. It's rolling on its side right at Kevin Radler, the goalkeeper. And now McKenna grabs it behind his own net. McKenna enters Michigan's zone, outskates all 4 killers, and tries to drop it back. Instead, Draper redirects it all the way back down the ice, and Penn State has to retrace their steps and try again.
So much time getting drawn out the clock here. Only a minute 10 to go on the power play for Penn State.
McKenna sends it all the way around the boards. It's got by Fink, right circle. Fink centers to DeMarsico in the slot. Loses an edge, then drags the puck through. Finds McKenna far side. Crossing pass, great pass. Fink was ready, but couldn't redirect it in the goal. Misses wide. Michigan clears. 50 seconds remaining on the power play. 4:20 left in the game. 5-1 Wolverines. Penn State resets. Now 40 seconds remaining in the power play. Misa enters, goes through everyone, does it himself. Saved by Ivankovic. Misa frustrated. Great moves there, but Ivankovic was ready.
It's been a story of goaltenders tonight as well. I mean, Ivankovic, like I've just been saying, he's been absolutely lights out here. Allowed only 1 goal in the first period, and since then it's been a clean sheet for the Wolverines. And Penn State, it's just like there's a brick wall in front of that net. Nothing going through for the Nittany Lions here.
Penn State wins the ensuing faceoff. 4 minutes remaining in Ann Arbor. Michigan up 5-1. Godowski moves to McKenna. McKenna goes through the slot. It's deflected off his skate. Finally, Godowski gets it back at the point. McKenna, one-timer fake, finds Schoen. Schoen tries to redirect into the top of the net. Goes over the net. Misa controls for Penn State. 13 seconds left on the power play. Lawback gets it in front, and he scores. Reese Lawback in front, using Schoen as a bumper. Penn State scores, cuts the lead to 5-2. Will Horkoff takes the walk of shame back to the Michigan bench. 5-2 Nittany Lions with 3:40 remaining.
Well, just at the end of that power play, the puck just happens to slip through. A little bit of commotion in front of the net, and it just gets past Ivan Kovic. So Penn State able to score on that power play, but they took 1 minute 50 seconds to do so, and now only 3:40 to go, still down by 3 goals.
Luca, do you think Penn State will pull Radler down 3 goals?
I mean, I'm not sure. I don't really think they're going to have the opportunity to do so. I mean, Michigan's just been dominant in the second and third periods here lately, especially on offense, just putting pressure on. I don't think they'll have much of a chance.
They control here in Penn State's defensive zone. Finally, it's gathered by Chin DeGraves. Crespo moves it up for Penn State, controlled by Rayon Mullen of Michigan. Rayon Mullen wanted a penalty, was not called. Van Olm for Penn State, evading defenders, drops for Crespo. Crespo moves it, one-timer, Smith deflected. Barnett flicks it up and deep into Penn State territory. Will be called for icing. Took a while to get there, but eventually was icing. 2:52 left in the third period. We'll see if Guy Godowski says, Radler, come over to the bench or not. Face off in Penn State's offensive zone. If there was ever a time with 3 minutes left, down 3, it's right now.
Yeah, and for Michigan, it's okay to just send that puck all the way down the ice. At this point, you're up by 3. Take a couple seconds off of this one and force Penn State to reset. They haven't really been able to do much, especially off of the face-off here tonight, and Michigan's just going to try to get them to stay out of that net for 2 minutes and 52 seconds. Play that same brand of hockey they've been playing all night.
Michigan wins the face-off, gets over halfway and dumps it deep, just trying to keep on wasting time. Radler stayed in his net, by the way. Puck goes around the boards, finds DeMarsico. Now to Lawback. Sends a rip high off the blocker of Ivan Kovic and out of play. Reset with a face-off. 2:35 remaining. Penn State may be waving the white flag.
Yeah, and Michigan all too content to just let those seconds tick off the clock. 2:35 to go, and they see victory in their grasp here tonight at Yost Ice Arena. Just a great display of hockey. Michigan matching Penn State's intensity and amping it up when they've needed to, and 5 goals, taking advantage of the opportunities they've gotten. That's all you can ask for.
Only 23 shots for the Wolverines, but 5 goals off of it. Penn State controls. Amon snaps Spence stick it with a shot. Chin DeGraves fighting for it for the Nittany Lions. And eventually finds Drew Schock, who sends it up the ice and in to the Penn State bench. Almost hit a coach in the head. 2:16 remaining in the third period, but Michigan 23 shots. Penn State 32 shots. It's 5-2 Wolverines. That speaks to the goalkeepers.
I think, yeah, absolutely. Ivan Kovic's just been incredible today, but I think it also speaks to the quality of the looks that Michigan has gotten versus what Penn State's gotten. At the end of the day, Penn State, yeah, they've had a lot of shots, but they haven't really been able to catch Ivan Kovic or the Michigan defense off balance. And, I mean, they've got 32 shots, but a good portion of those really just didn't have much on them, and that's made a huge difference, only able to score on 2 of those.
Michigan has 25 blocks to Penn State's 13. Penn State had more blocks last night. So definitely a change in the willingness to get in front of shots for the Wolverines. Penn State controls with under 2 minutes to play. McKenna sends one and scores. It was deflected in the slot by Luke Misa. And now hold on just a moment. Misa gets a redirection goal off of a McKenna feed with 1:51 remaining. The lead is now 2, and now Godowski might have to think about going for it and pulling Radler.
Yeah, it's just a little uncharacteristic of what we've seen so far tonight. That shot just going straight through. Now all of a sudden, Penn State maybe with a little bit of life, down 2 with 1:51 to go.
McKenna gains the blue line, looking to bring his team back into the game. TJ Hughes forces a turnover. Radler thought about going to the bench, ended up not going. Jackson Smith controls for the Nittany Lions, and TJ Hughes takes it over. Has some open ice ahead. Moldenhauer and Perron trailing. Hughes waits, finds Perron. Back to Hughes, shot, misses. Radler might have made a sprawling save. Misa now for Penn State the other way. Aiden Fink behind the back pass. Smith takes his time. Radler leaves his post. Empty net. Hughes sends one to length of the ice. It's not on target. Towards the right side will be icing. Michigan up 2 with 1:11 on the clock. 5-3 Wolverines. 1:11 remaining, and it will be a defensive zone faceoff for Michigan, but Penn State has the extra attacker on. Empty netter opportunity, 6-on-5 opportunity for Penn State.
If there was ever a time to pull the goalie, it was there. I was actually surprised they didn't do it earlier once they were down by 2. Now TJ Hughes will go for the faceoff for the Wolverines.
Goals
8 for 14 tonight.
Reese Lawback and Luke Misa got Penn State back into it. Fink tries a shot. It's blocked. Perron lifts one up the ice just right in the net, but Moldenhauer's going to win the race there. He taps it in. That is the dagger. 1:01 remaining in Ann Arbor. Moldenhauer finishes the job, his second of the night. And Michigan leads 6-3. Penn State will leave Ann Arbor with only 1 point from the overtime loss yesterday. Michigan, an overtime win, a regulation win. With just 61 seconds left, this series is all but over.
Yeah, and in a moment of desperation for Penn State, they're trying to get an open look, and this is really what we've said all night. This Michigan defense, along with Jack Ivankovic, just standing firm in front of that goal and not letting them get any good looks. They go for a shot, it doesn't go, rebound, Michigan just sends it right up the ice. Easy empty net goal. And 6-3 Wolverines, that'll just about do it here tonight at Yost with 1 minute and 1 second remaining.
Moldenhauer adds 2 goals to his tally, up to 12 on the season. A very good season for him. 12, 12, 24 points. Under a minute to play in Ann Arbor. Penn State trying to use a last push, but Ivankovic moves it along. Fantilli helping out. Katzen has the puck up against the boards. And a penalty coming on Fantilli, likely a cross-check. See what the official ruling is, but how Penn State will go up an attacker for the final 40 seconds. Pretty tough to get 3 goals in 40 seconds. They're going to need to move quickly, but Katzen got smushed there by Fantilli, and they'll just send Fantilli back into the tunnel.
Yeah, Fantilli a little too aggressive there, and it's going to take a miracle for Penn State. 40 seconds to go to score 3, but we'll see what they can do. Up a man on the Wolverines here.
(6-3) Michigan. 40 seconds remaining in the game. Penn State an offensive zone face-off. Radler is still in his goal, in case you're wondering. Barnett sends it the length of the ice after Michigan wins the face-off. They're going to win the face-off battle 38-33. It ended closer than it was when Michigan took the lead. They're up as much as 5-1. Smith enters the offensive zone for Penn State. Over to McKenna. McKenna tries a one-timer. Saved, actually blocked by Barnett. Draper now running a transition. Has a one-on-one with Radler. Radler saves it and covers it up. And now Jackson Smith happy to get into it with Michigan after Michigan was giving Radler a little extra love. Penn State's going to go 0-2. They're going to show Michigan that they're not going down easy. Fights all around. Fink's involved with Barnett. Marsico's in there. Robertson's in there. A lot of players going to be assessed some game misconduct as a formality. And here comes Smith. Smith is being held back by the official, actually being forcefully shoved into the tunnel. Penn State's pissed off. Barnett's pissed off. The children of Yost egging them on. Michigan's going to win 6-3. And have some players be escorted off the ice.
Yeah, frustration's just boiling over in the closing moments of this one, and man, they really went all out. We didn't see a whole lot of pushing and shoving before this moment in this game, but they're leaving each other with a statement here.
Again, just 14.1 on the clock remaining. Some fighting. The officials are going to have to sort out who should be sent off the ice. But 14 seconds could go by pretty quickly if they just allowed it to. Penn State was already on the power play. Draper had a chance shorthanded. It was saved. The officials are going to review it.
Never know what could happen in 14 seconds.
Yeah, they need a goal every 5 seconds, less than that, to come back and tie it.
We'd be in for a treat if, we'll see what these officials say, but 14 seconds for Penn State.
Thank you guys for tuning in to WCBN Sports. Along with Luca, Nowinski, I'm Theo, Shernoff. Luca, you got any plans for this Valentine's Day night as the officials review this?
Not much. Maybe watch some NBA All-Star Weekend going on. Catch up on my Olympics since I've been at some lovely Wolverine events so far today. We saw a great basketball game earlier against UCLA. Now a great win here in hockey. It's been a great day for sports.
I was at the lacrosse game. They dropped an upset to Lehigh, fortunately for them, but Michigan's going to get a much-needed win, and the two sports they're number 2 in the country at, both looking to climb back into that number 1 spot, hockey and basketball.
Winter sports here in Ann Arbor with some absolute juggernaut contenders. Can't wait to watch some more in March as both of their seasons progress. Women's basketball doing absolutely incredible this year as well.
Yeah, they are. You mentioned top 10. Good team.
They got a nice
Great
showdown with
class.
They got a nice showdown with Michigan State tomorrow at the Chrysler Center.
You can tune in on WCBN Sports as well. Just about every Michigan sporting event on WCBN Sports these days.
Officials still taking a look at this. This is
great experience for student broadcasters. We appreciate all of our listeners. Any Michigan sport, tune on in. Still 14 seconds left in the game. We're sticking around for y'all. Officials seeing who gets sent out of the game. I'll try to get an extensive list of it. Jackson Smith was already shoved down the tunnel. And if Gavin McKenna gets sent off, you might hear the loudest applause all night.
This is the longest 14 seconds I've had in a while. This is like really, man, just looking at a lot of replays down there. The officials looking like maybe they're close to being done. They're writing down a list, it looks like. We might see quite a few players from both teams kind of having an early exit here, 14 seconds early.
DeMarchico probably going to get sent. Asher Barnett probably going to get sent. Maybe Weebush, he got sent yesterday. Could go 2 for 2.
Yeah, Barnett landed a couple good ones down there.
He got Fantilli already left the ice.
Yes, he did.
Michigan baseball also, we forgot to mention that. Another team that is doing well. Upset Oregon State to start the season yesterday. They play Stanford later today.
That'll be exciting, especially once they come back home. We'll be down there, WCBN baseball broadcasts. Love baseball sign of
we're not there.
Improving.
I don't think WCBN's there for this series.
No, not yet. Probably once they come back to Ann Arbor, I would guess.
Yes.
A little far away for us.
But believe it or not, on the call for Flow Sports is my uncle.
Really?
Yeah, Mike Farron. You can go tune in there. He's calling Michigan at Stanford, I believe. Called the game last night. Again, a long review. Asher Barnett's now being walked to the penalty box. Official's going to come out with a clipboard of players that either have to spend time in the penalty box or get sent off. Webush is going to go to the penalty box as well, along with Barnett and Musket. We'll get the ruling here. So it's just DeMarsico and Smith for Penn State, and then Barnett and Draper for Michigan. But Draper and DeMarsico and Smith already got sent off the ice, so Barnett will sit down in the penalty box, and then Webush and Fink will take DeMarsico and Smith's spot, and then Musket will take the spot of Draper. So after a whole bunch of hullabaloo musical chairs, we are finally set for another face-off.
He's got two pairs of teammates sitting in the penalty box. Last, get to enjoy 14 seconds of hockey action. Still a little bit of a delay here, Michigan trying to figure out which 5 guys will come out for the final 14 seconds.
They actually only get 4.
4, yeah.
4 for them, 4 for Penn State.
It should make it easier.
So 4 on 4. Yeah, you only need 4 of them. Again, 14 seconds, 6-3 lead, and most of Yost is still here. I'd say 90% at least of the fans are still here. Shows how great of a fan base they have. Shot controls in his own zone. Michigan just going to run out the clock. 3, 2, 1, 0, and the Wolverines take 5 out of 6 points. In Ann Arbor, they sweep beside the Nittany Lions. Jack Ivankovic in his first full series back gets 2 wins. 6-3 the final tonight. Luca, any parting words?
I mean, how great is it to have Jack Ivankovic back? I mean, Stephen Peck did an amazing job in relief while Ivankovic was injured, but Ivankovic just takes this team to another level, and Penn State had a really hard time getting shots through on him. And even their 3 goals, I mean, I wouldn't even really give much to that number. It really felt like a lot less than that. Ivankovic did an amazing job today. Along with the Michigan defense as a whole, I mean, they were just high-flying all over the place. And a great performance by the Wolverines. This was a close game for a while, but they held on and got things to go when they needed them.
Michigan wins 6-3 in Ann Arbor. Thank you for tuning in to WCBN Sports' production of Michigan Wolverine hockey. Have a great Valentine's Day. Along with Luca Nowinski, I've been Theo Shernoff, signing off for the night from Yost Ice Arena. Wolverines win 6-3. We'll leave you as we always do with a good night and a Go Blue.